Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game here in Shea Stadium in Highlands Ranch against the ThunderRidge Grizzlies and the Regis Jesuit Raiders. I'm here with Joe Quigley, our producer, Andrew Reel, our cameraman, and Steven Snyder, my color commentator. Steven, how do you feel about tonight?
I'm really excited, Jake. I think the Raiders really have a caliber team, and they're finally pulling the stuff together that they need to be able to knock off these high-powered ThunderRidge Grizzlies. I believe they're second in the state, aren't they, Jake?
Yeah, either second or third according to the most recent Denver Post poll. But tonight the Raiders will have a tough task at hand indeed. At quarterback for the Grizzlies is the star, Brody Westmoreland. Stephen, we actually saw him last year play a pretty incredible game against Regis, beating Regis at Luke Kellogg Stadium. But tonight the Raiders need to try to get the ship on the right course. If anything, Stephen, just try to pick up some positive momentum for next week's game against Douglas County.
And Jake, I really think the Raiders have the the defense to handle Westmoreland this year because they are a run-oriented stopping offense, and that option is heavily based on getting the run going. So if the Raiders can stop Westmoreland in the run, then the option pass is not a problem for them.
And just a reminder to all our listeners that we are once again doing quick score on Max Preps. So be sure to check on our Regis Jesuit profile on Max Preps and follow our live updates of the game. We'll be doing that for most of the season. And although ThunderRidge coming in 4-0, you have to wonder, Steven, if ThunderRidge is kind of overlooking Regis here tonight.
And you know, Jake, it's really easy to do, especially with the injuries that the Raiders have suffered lately. So we'll see if ThunderRidge really takes them seriously, or if they just kind of kick them off and the Raiders can shock them.
Shea Stadium, where we are at tonight, is the venue of multiple Highlands Ranch schools. I know that Mountain Vista, Highlands Ranch, Rock Canyon, and ThunderRidge all use Shea Stadium, but it's a really cool stadium. Got a great press box here and a pretty good environment. You know, Stephen, I'm a real fan of the bands, and combine that with our Regis student body. That's always a nice treat. Thursday night lights here. Can never start the football week too early. So, so really, the sun has set, and we are getting very close to football. We're about 5 minutes away. ThunderRidge is still on the field, and the first few Regis players are trotting out. What'll be interesting to see tonight if Zach Heath and Matt Hotelling share snaps, or if one of them clearly has the starting nod.
And, Jake, it really will be interesting here to see. I imagine Hotelling's going to get more snaps because Zach Heath, as we saw, he had a good run, but then threw that interception that almost guaranteed he probably wouldn't be playing in this game, in my mind.
Well, Steven, you know, Zach's pass was definitely off target, but we'll see how Matt can do. Matt definitely did not have his best game. So, captains coming out on the field, number 80, Alex Mitchell, and number 55, that's Connor Warren, along with number 5, Joseph Boseman, and number 97, Michael Gunther. The Raiders are meeting in the east end zone, and we are very close to football tonight.
And, Jake, what do you think the keys to the game for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies are tonight against the Raiders?
Steven, I think a big part of the game will be by if they commit turnovers. I know it's cliche, but if Regis can keep control of the ball, chew the clock, and keep this game low scoring, Regis could be in a good situation.
And, Jake, the reason I asked you ThunderRidge is we all know Regis' key to the game is get the ball on the ground working, get it running. So I really think the Raiders' keys never really change. You got to get the run game working. You got to get the pass rush working as well. So the Raiders, it's nice to have fundamental football like that, Jake, where your keys are always the same.
So we're going to take a quick break for our national anthem, and we will see you guys on the other side of that. Thanks for tuning in. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Shea Stadium on this fine Thursday night. Stephen, I just heard the ThunderRidge band playing what is
Was that the Michigan fight song?
Quite a non-hidden attempt to completely steal the Michigan Wolverine fight song. That is the completely same edition of Hail to the Victors. A great song, but I'll give them an F for originality there.
And Jake, I love to hear those songs, though, especially being a Big Ten fan. I know you're a Big Ten fan too, so whenever they can spread influence, it's always good.
A quick note on that, Stephen. Remember, our two teams are duking it out Saturday night. College game day will be in East Lansing for an Ohio State slaughter of Michigan State.
Don't speak too soon there, buddy. They're saying the same thing about this ThunderRidge Regis game, and I'm not buying it.
And here comes Vince Saban to kick off for the Raiders. Saban's kick goes toward the end zone, and it's in the end zone for a touchback. A nice job by number 87, Vince Saban, to give the Grizzlies the first drive of the game from the 20-yard line.
And Jake, Vince Saban, quite a boot. I haven't seen many of his kicks return. That one possibly returnable, but smart play by the Grizzlies there. And it's always nice when you have a kicker like that. You can always start your opponent 80 yards from the end zone and make them drive it long.
Without a doubt, Stephen, 80 yards is not good field position. So here come the Grizzlies on their first drive. Here's returning quarterback Brody Westmoreland. I believe he's a junior. But his first play of the game will be a handoff on the left side to number 5, Steve Ray. And Ray gets good yardage out across the 25.
And Jake, if you're the Raiders, you can't let that happen. We know Westmoreland runs in a shotgun an option from what we saw last time. And if you let the running back run, that's just another threat that's going to come that you have to think about later in the game. So the Raiders really need to clamp down here.
So Westmoreland again in the same formation, an I formation with a lone receiver on the left. Westmoreland now going to hand it off to the fullback. That's number 31, Jake Hand, who Stephen is also from last year. Hand takes it out across the 31 for a ThunderRidge first down.
And we'll see if the ThunderRidge Grizzlies pull out the option here, Jake. I imagine we'll see something since they do have two ball carriers now that have been successful. I imagine we'll see an option play here from the Grizzlies.
Without a doubt, Stephen. And now ThunderRidge lining up in the reverse formation. It'll be a fake pitch, but a handoff straight up the middle to Hand. And Hand powers his way for 14 yards and a ThunderRidge first down out to the 46-yard line.
And, Jake, that's exactly what the Raiders don't need to do. Their defensive line is more of a pass-rushing line, though. So we'll see if they maybe modify their linebackers to help stop the run, because that's really not what the Regis Jesuit line is built for.
Yeah, Steven, this ThunderRidge offense kind of reminding me of back when the Big Ten was good and they can just bludgeon people with power offenses. But now Brody Westmoreland will pitch it off on the right side to Ray, and finally the Raiders with a nice defensive stop.
And definitely, Jake, we'll see here if the Raiders maybe come with a blitz to maybe stop the runner in the backfield, because we do know Westmoreland has a good arm, and I'm sure the Raiders know that. So if you're the Raiders, you have to get a big stop here and force a long third down, because a third down and medium is just prime territory for the Grizzlies.
So it'll be 2nd down and 8 for ThunderRidge. Just over 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, and now Westmoreland will scramble out to the right side. He's going to look for a pass, and now he's going to cut it upfield. That quick turning ability enough for a ThunderRidge first down at the Regis Jesuit 42-yard line.
And great smart running by Westmoreland there. He knows the Raiders hit hard. He knows they try to send a message with each hit, and there just lets a Regis player get his ankle and then immediately goes down so he doesn't take one of those hits. So Westmoreland really using his head today, Jake.
Stephen, I would say Westmoreland is one of the impact players on this Grizzly offense. Without a doubt, he's got experience, a very agile runner and passer. So now Westmoreland, they're kind of in a flex, and he's going to hand it off up the middle. I believe that was to Jake Hand, and Hand will get maybe 2 yards to the Regis Jesuit 40.
And Jake Hand really can become a power runner if he gets the room. He's kind of a power runner with the needs of a speed runner, Jake. So it's a really interesting combination that works out great if you can get him the ball in the right position, but sometimes it's dangerous for the Grizzlies offense.
So it'll be 2nd down and 8 now. Westmoreland now going to be in a shotgun with a lone halfback behind him. Regis Jesuit in a 4-3, look to blitz on the left. It's going to be a handoff to Ray. Ray gets tripped up at the line and gets maybe a yard, so it'll be 3rd down and long.
Great second effort there by Ray, Jake, but it just didn't get him anywhere. He saw the Regis blitz coming and tried to avoid it, but I don't think the Grizzlies line was prepared enough. And that's really shocking. I'm surprised they're running so much to Antonio Broadus' side. You'd expect them to run to the right side of the offense, the top side of the field, maybe at the replacement for Grant Neal. I can't quite see who that is right now, but I'm surprised they're running at Broadus.
So it'll be 3rd down and 7 now. Pitch to the left side, and Hand is stopped short of the 1st down. So that will be a 4th down for the Raiders.
And we'll see here. Be really interesting. Is the punt team coming out for ThunderRidge?
No, I think Westmoreland's going to go for it.
4th and 8, Jake. I mean, it's in that middle territory, but really interesting.
So ball on the 37. It's a quick 4th down. His receivers didn't react in time, and Westmoreland just throws it away. And the ThunderRidge head coach is furious. I think that was not the design play. He's giving Westmoreland a piece of his mind.
No, it looks like he's giving his mind to number 51, the offensive lineman. So maybe he gave up the play too fast?
And a quick thought about Brody Westmoreland that I just remembered. He sounds so familiar because I remember seeing him for he was the 3-hole hitter in the ThunderRidge baseball team too. He also plays shortstop, and he's quite a 2-sport athlete, so a very athletic kid. Here's Matt Hotaling leading the Raider offense out, starting from their own 39-yard line, looking for signals from the sideline. ThunderRidge has 5 men on the line. 7:52 left in the 1st quarter. Hotaling going to hand it off up the middle to Jalen Williams, who gets stopped for nothing. And it'll be 2nd down and 10.
And Jake, we'll see here what the Raiders do. I imagine we could see an early Hotaling pass. He did pass very well. They did run a 3rd pass play last week. I wasn't able to get the name out of the football managers, but I'm sure we might see Screaming Falcon here. Even though it's normally run out of a trips, it's modified, so we might see Eagle here. I can definitely see him passing with their confidence in Hotaling.
So Matt Hotaling once again under center. ThunderRidge looking to blitz. A lot of men up close. A.J. Shaw in motion. Hotaling going to fake handoff, roll out to the right side, throw downfield, and just out of the hands of Robert Orban. That's unfortunate.
And that actually was Eagle. We saw him roll out, and we saw Alex Mitchell starting to try to cut back on that sideline. But no can do, and he had to look for his bailout, Robert Orban, which was just unfortunate. But no surprise the call there, Jake.
So just like that, 2 plays for no yardage, and it's 3rd down and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Hotaling under center again. ThunderRidge with 6 men up close, 2 linebackers stalking behind. Hotaling going to drop back, look to the left side. Got a man, Elliot DeJour, and he had the ball, but when he went to the ground, he could not keep a hold of it, so it falls incomplete.
And really unfortunate there, Jake. Very well-designed play and not one of their typical pass plays. It's the 4th one we've seen this season, so Raiders definitely experimenting, and they're going to need to experiment against the Grizzlies. Really unfortunate they couldn't take advantage of that great field position, Jake.
So now Sebastian Harris will come out to punt from the Regis Jesuit 39. 6:59 left to go in the 1st quarter. Both teams go out on their first possessions. Sebastian, 30. A pretty good punt to number 33, and he'll be tackled inside the 20-yard line. That is almost a 40-yard punt. Great job by the Regis Jesuit punt coverage and Sebastian Harris to tackle Colin Hankins inside the red zone.
And Jake, it looks like he was trying to catch it out around the 27. So you always got to run forward, Jake, because he lost about 7 yards on that return because of his forward progress there. So you just can't give up yards like that.
So Westmoreland will start his second drive of the afternoon in his red zone, and there's a toss to Ray, and there's a flag on the play. Ray got nothing on the initial play, so we'll see what the call is here. It is holding on ThunderRidge, so that'll back them in their own 10-yard line. A pretty good job so far, Stephen, of the Regis Jesuit defense, bending but not breaking.
I really think so. It looks like they're discussing the penalty. So it's going to be about 1st and 22 from the looks of it, Jake.
Stephen, because they were inside the 20-yard line, it'll only be half the distance to the goal.
Right. Forgot about that one.
So Westmoreland now backed up in his own 10-yard line. Ball on the 8, 1st and 20. It did happen to turn out that way. In an I formation, in motion, 88. Westmoreland dropping back, pass out to the left. Led his man a little too far. Intended receiver Mark Hopper, 2nd down and 20.
Jake, I'm really surprised they didn't run the ball there because now they have to pass 2 more plays. They really close a lot of doors there by throwing there and not getting the completion, so really risky. And I don't know if the coaches are thinking on ThunderRidge, at least the way I would be thinking at this situation.
Steven, I think it's really imperative here for the Regis Jesuit defense to not allow the Grizzlies to get a 1st down. We've seen it before. One of the toughest situations that Regis puts themselves in is when they give up long yardage conversions. And here's Westmoreland now, dropping back from the shotgun. He's going to look up the middle. He's going to take it and run. Nice job by the Regis defense to prevent him only getting across the 15-yard line, so it'll still be 3rd and about 15.
And, Jake, with a dangerous player like Westmoreland, you saw them. They didn't go directly for the tackle. They corralled him, and that is intelligent football by the Raiders. Not going directly for a high tackle you can't get, but corralling him, giving him about 3 more yards because you know you have yards to give, and then tackling him low with a good fundamental tackle.
So it'll be 3rd down and 12 from the ThunderRidge 16-yard line. We're at 5:50 to play in the first quarter. The score is 0-0. Westmoreland out another shotgun with number 5, Ray, behind him. It's more like a pistol, and he's going to pitch it. It's a reverse to number 1, and he will dash around the 20-yard line out towards the 25. Gets hit hard, no flag. That's Jesse Krieger, the senior wide receiver, but it will not be enough for a 1st down.
Are they going to go for it here, Jake?
I would be very shocked if they went for it here this deep in their own territory. I think you have to punt this deep. And on a personal note, I actually know Jesse Krieger. I played on his baseball team way back in 5th grade, I think it was, Warriors. So good to see him again. A nice run there. And indeed, ThunderRidge will punt. Good snap, and the kick is pretty far down the field. Will Dines will take it from the 36. Dines moving inside the 50. Dines cuts upfield. Dines has some room, and he'll make it to almost the 35-yard line of the Grizzlies. A very nice return of Will Dines for all about 25 yards.
So does that make the punt about 9 yards, Jake, from my count?
So I think in total, the net yardage of the punt, yes, Steven, was about 7 or 8 yards. Not a good job by the Grizzly punt coverage on that, but Regis will take it.
And I'm sorry, Jake. I really think the Grizzlies' punt scheme there, with their punt being sideways, opened up the lane for Will.
So now Matt Hoteling's going to hand it off to Williams. Regis really hurrying up the offense out there, and Williams will get 3 yards. But, yeah, I agree, Steven. It seemed like ThunderRidge wasn't getting their punt coverage down the field really quickly enough.
And I think, Jake, that was because of the sideways punt. When you have to run across the field and down it, that takes more time. And that just opened it up for Will Dimes, who just got a beat on it and took it in stride.
So now Matt Hoteling and some late subs coming in for the Raider offense, possibly a play call. And Hoteling will be in an I formation. ThunderRidge has a 4-3 on, but the linebackers are encroaching the line of scrimmage. Hoteling's going to drop back after a fake pass through number 14. He pulls him down, and there is a flag on the play. Pass interference. That was number 14. He's not on the roster, but Cody Lippert, that is, who was taken down as the ball was in the air. That is pass interference, a good call. The thing about that is, Steven, though, that if there was no pass interference, I don't think Lippert would have caught it.
I really don't think he would have, Jake. He was on the ground about the same time the ball was. So, but when you see a receiver on the ground that early, you really have to think there's pass interference. There's no real other explanation, even if their feet got tied up. But the ref saw hands, obviously, pushing him, and that's what he made his call based on.
Oh, yeah, a good call indeed by the referees there. So Regis now has a first down on the ThunderRidge 18-yard line. Hoteling under center. ThunderRidge menacing. He's got 5 men up close in motion. John Schmidt. Hoteling handoff, fake handoff, and he gets met. That's number 83 for the Grizzlies. Did you see the number on that, Steven?
93.
93, John Adam, the defensive end, not falling for that play-action handoff. Right there to smack Hoteling.
And Hoteling's got to feel that one. 6'3", 215 there on John Adams. So he's a big kid, and he was moving fast, Jake.
Definitely, Steven. And now it'll be 2nd and 16 for the Raiders back on the 24-yard line. Hoteling's going to drop back. He's looking left. Up in the air. The pass is there. Touchdown, Raiders. A beautiful pass by Matt Hoteling to number 80, Alex Mitchell. He threw the ball before Mitchell was looking, but that pass was right where it had to be. What a great play. What a great hookup between Matt Hoteling and Alex Mitchell for all of 24 yards and a Regis Jesuit touchdown.
And that was absolutely fantastic, Jake. You can definitely see Hoteling getting more comfortable. And after that big hit there by Adam, is great composure for him to get up and say, I can do this, and drop back again and make a pass.
So now on to attempt the extra point is Harrison Thrasher. Sebastian Harris to hold. The kick is up, the snap, and it's good. So with 3:50 to go in the first quarter, Regis Jesuit is up 7-0 over ThunderRidge. The little train that could.
And I really, Jay, if you look at the Grizzlies here, they really don't seem to be comfortable playing right now against the Raiders. I don't know if they just looked at their film and the Raiders brought out a different defense. Doesn't look like it. Looks like a standard Raider defense. I don't know if they're maybe trying some new plays out, thinking Regis is easily beatable and they can try some new formations, but it looks like a standard ThunderRidge offense. So I don't know what's going on here, but ThunderRidge just doesn't look in its element, even if it's at home.
This is going to be a pretty crucial possession, I believe, for ThunderRidge because the Regis defense completely stifled the Grizzlies on their last possession. Here comes Vince Saban's kickoff. And a pretty good kick that will go into the end zone. So 2 touchbacks by Vince. That's the way you got to kick in high school. If the ball goes into the end zone, you cannot run it back. So ThunderRidge will start its 3rd drive of the evening on their own 20-yard line.
And Jake, this field position really being key for the Raiders. You got to love Vince Saban and Sebastian Harris giving the Raiders some great opportunities for their defense to have plays to make and having ThunderRidge have to throw the ball because they are so far back.
So Westmoreland now out in motion, number 88. There's a flag on the play. Steven, did you see what that flag was for?
I think that's false start, Jake. That's the only thing I saw.
And right you are. There's a false start on ThunderRidge. So that was the problem on their previous drive, a holding penalty that really backed them up deep. So once again, they commit a penalty to drive them deeper into their own red zone.
And Jake, you got to wonder, ThunderRidge really hurting themselves here because they fell about a yard or 2 short last time after a 10-yard penalty. If they fall a yard or 2 short here, it really seems penalties are very effective against the Grizzlies. So you might see the Raiders' defensive line trying to edge them into some false starts.
So now ThunderRidge in an I formation. Westmoreland going to scramble out to the left side. He's going to throw it. It is dropped by Jesse Krieger. Potential big yards for the Grizzlies there slipped right through the hands of Jesse Krieger, my former baseball teammate. So it'll now be 2nd and 15.
And Jake, you got to wonder with the Grizzlies here what they do here. Maybe you run it just to try to get back into your element. because right now they're dropping easy passes. They aren't playing fundamental football. And to get back to that, they have to get back to fundamental Grizzly football.
So now ThunderRidge lining up in the opposite formation that they had before, a lone receiver to the right, and it's going to be a handoff. I didn't really see Hand, but Hand with the ball, tough to get tackled. What a fake that was, and it's enough for a ThunderRidge first down. So a 15-yard scamper by Jake Hand for a Grizzly first down.
And that's the power the Grizzly offense holds, Jake, is that any time they possibly can, they're going to beat you with a big run. And the only team I saw that had that potential earlier in this year other than them was the Raiders until they lost Chuk.
3:30 to go in the first quarter. Westmoreland now in a pistol. Westmoreland going to keep the handoff and cut it upfield himself. So, Steven, there we see their effective triple option. He has the option to hand it off initially, keep it, or pitch it out to the outside running back. Very similar to the Nevada Wolfpack and what they used to run with Colin Kaepernick and now what they currently run with Coach Chris Alt.
And I'm really surprised with the Grizzly style of offense. We don't see more pistol formations, Jake. They really have the offense and the plays they use for it.
So Westmoreland now again in the pistol. He's going to keep the handoff. He's going to take it himself. A nice spread option read by Westmoreland, and Westmoreland takes it out for almost 9 yards, and another Grizzly first down. A very effective option read.
He is so good at faking a handoff, Jake. I thought the running back had the ball, and I'm supposed to be looking for that stuff. So, really, that's really effective when your quarterback can do that so well.
The amazing thing about that, Steven, is how late he has his hands in there. He really has a lot of time to decide if he wants to hand the ball off or pull it back and keep it. So now he's going to be in a shotgun in motion number 1, and it'll be a handoff up the middle to Ray. Ray will get stopped immediately for 2 yards.
And it doesn't look like Ray's having quite as big of a game as he'd hoped to here, Jake. We'll see if they maybe start giving it to Hand and Westmoreland more, because Ray is putting them in some tough positions early on.
2:03 to go in the first quarter. Regis Jesuit up 7-0 on the 24-yard touchdown pass from Matt Hotelling to Alex Mitchell. Really a shocking score so far. And now this is an interesting formation, Steven. Westmoreland lining up with a tailback back and to either side of him. And now he's going to hand it off to Ray again. And now Ray loses yards. So it will be 3rd and 8 for the Grizzlies.
And if you're the Grizzlies, Jake, you got to reevaluate running up the middle. It really hasn't worked for you all game. And unless it's a draw play, I really think you got to pitch it outside and use your speed. The Raiders' defense fast, but not that fast, Jake. And I really think they can beat the Raiders on the outside if they start using their pitches effectively.
So a big down coming up right here. 1:15 to go in the first quarter. 3rd down and 10, it looks like. So now here's Westmoreland. Man in motion, Krieger. It's going to be a handoff to Krieger around the right side. Krieger gets dropped for almost nothing, and it will be 4th down and 10. Punt time for the Grizzlies.
And Antonio Broadus on that play, Jake. And it looks like the Raiders realigned before that play. Broadus lining up on the other side, actually. Maybe they saw something in the ThunderRidge defense that they saw a pattern they liked that they usually see. So Broadus, great play there, and he's really been key to the Raiders this season, even after losing Grant Neal.
So now it is punt time for the Grizzlies. Ball on the 50. The punt high, and inside his 10-yard line. Will Dines receive it? He's going to take it out to Alex Mitchell taking it across the 20-yard line. There's a flag on the field, so sadly it looks like that one's going to go back. But as it stands, it is about a 35-yard punt, and apparently there's some confusion on the field if the ball was fumbled.
I didn't see a possible fumble there.
Okay, so
and returning was, that was Alex Mitchell. All right.
So the Raiders do recover the ball, or he was down, I'm not sure. But on the play, there was an illegal block on the Grizzlies. So we'll see now if they re-kick it. Steven, I've never seen a block in the back on the kicking team.
And Jake, you don't see it much, but it does exist. If you start, it really does exist, Jake. because if you block someone in the back and that lets the tackler tackle the ball carrier, it's a completely logical penalty. But Raiders really catch one there, and the Grizzlies now with 3 penalties, Raiders with 0, and that's great for the Raiders if they can get out of the quarter without a single penalty, Jake.
So the ball will be placed on the 25-yard line for the Raiders to start this drive. Matt Hotelling out after his beautiful touchdown pass to Alex Mitchell on the previous possession. 17 seconds left to go in the first quarter. In an I formation, the Raiders are. ThunderRidge stacking 5 men on the line. And he's a fumble. There's a ball on the ground, and the Grizzlies get it. That was a poor handoff between Hotelling and Williams, and it looks like we'll see who has the ball. I believe ThunderRidge was on it, and it is indeed Grizzly football. So, as I said, Steven, you can't make mistakes like that. And just like that, the Raiders shooting themselves in the hip.
And they really are, Jake. Have such great field position. Stop the Grizzlies. Looks like you could go up by 2 scores early in the second quarter, but no can do. And the Raiders really going to have to bring out. Luckily, they're a great goal line and red zone defense, but we'll see if they can hold them again. It's a lot to ask of the defense.
So 13.1 seconds. Westmoreland looking on the left side, throwing it up in the air to number 4. Oversails him. 7.8 seconds left to go.
And, Jake, we could hear the ThunderRidge coaches yelling, saying that was a Grizzly ball, and they sounded really excited. So we'll see if this puts the momentum back in the ThunderRidge players as well.
The ball's on the 24-yard line. Again, I mean, I don't see how you could possibly gift a team with a better present than fumbling practically in their red zone. Westmoreland is being checked out by the officials, and he is forced to go to the sideline. I'm not sure what happened there. I guess he lost the helmet or something. ThunderRidge coach is asking for an explanation from the officials. Looks like he will not get one, so now, they're going to have to work on him. So, Steven, it looks like they might have to call timeout because they don't have a quarterback ready. This is interesting. There's still 7.8 seconds on the clock.
Maybe you'll see Brandon Brennan come in, number 6, or number 18, the defensive back is in.
So we'll see number 18, Matt Mallon. Mallon's going to hand it off up the middle to Jake Hand, and Hand will take it across to the 24-yard line. But that'll be it for the first quarter of play. And we're going to take a quick break here at RJ Live at the end of 1. Regis Jesuit 7, ThunderRidge nothing. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Shea Stadium here on Thursday night. The Grizzlies down 7-0 to the Raiders. Ball on the 24-yard line, and it will be 3rd down and 10. So, a really interesting play. It seemed like Westmoreland was ordered to go to the sideline by the officials. Still don't know what happened, but here he is again in a pistol. Steven, really, the pistol's so effective because you can utilize so many different run and pass plays.
And, Jake, I absolutely love watching the pistol because of all those options. And you really have to have a handyman quarterback who can do everything to use it, though, Jake.
Agreed. So here's Westmoreland. He's going to hold it and pitch it outside. And he's got a room to run inside the 25-yard line. inside about the 15. The spot is good enough for a first down. That was Colin Hankins running it for a Grizzly first down, so an unfortunate conversion there for the Raider defense. And now the Grizzlies within striking distance in the Raider red zone.
But, Jake, don't forget, this is where the Regis Jesuit defense seems to play its best football, is when it's backed up against its own goal line. So don't count out the Raiders yet.
The ball's on the 14-yard line, 11:50 to go. Westmoreland in an I formation. He's going to hand it off to, no, he's going to keep it himself. Westmoreland, and he looks a little slow to get up, but he is up, and he'll take it to about the 10 or 11-yard line. So it'll be now 2nd down and 7.
We'll see here, Jake, what the Raiders can do. I imagine they might try a surprise blitz here.
That'd be a good call on defense. Westmoreland lining up with the 2 halfbacks behind him. He's going to hold on to the ball and try to cut it up himself, and he will get a few yards inside the 10-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and medium, about 3rd and 6. Really, ThunderRidge has done a decent job so far tonight on offense, I'd say. But the Raider defense, I give them props for holding ThunderRidge scoreless after one quarterback. A big down here. 3rd down and 6. We'll see if they run or pass. Honestly, with this multifaceted ThunderRidge offense, they could do either one. Westmoreland's so dangerous at doing option handoffs. And really, it's now 3rd and 6. So, nope, there was a penalty on the play on the Raiders. So that'll be a first down. Actually, no, I guess it's not a first down. But anyway, ThunderRidge in an I formation. Handoff up the middle is number 5. Not quite into the end zone.
But that does give them a first down, Jake. That gives them 4 shots at the end zone. So we'll see. Scoreboard and the markers really not matching up. I'm a little confused right now. I don't know what down it is, to be honest.
So it is indeed first down and goal. And, Steven, I would say this would be a heck of a goal line stand by the Raider defense. Westmoreland lining up goal line. We'll see if he sneaks it. He's going to hand it off to number 31. And Jake Hand is into the end zone for a touchdown. With 10:40 to go in the second quarter, ThunderRidge scores a touchdown, and pending the extra point, this game could be tied.
And, Jake, if you're ThunderRidge there, you got to be excited. You're back tied. You've evened the playing field. If you're the Raiders, you got to keep the momentum going. And I think you got to hit them with a big play really fast here after this extra point. I think you got to go. And your second or third play into the next drive, you just got to throw a big pass and hope you can catch them off guard.
So the extra point for ThunderRidge is up, and it is good. So with 10:40, ThunderRidge has tied up this game. We're going to take a quick break on RJ Live. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The ThunderRidge kickoff is fielded at about the 8-yard line. That's Will Dines taking it around the right side and getting about to the 28-yard line. So Regis now going to try to get some points and break this tie. Steven, there seems to be an injured Regis player who's being carted off now. That looks pretty serious.
I didn't get to see who that was, Jake.
Wow, I hope he's okay. We just saw a person being stretched off, but here comes Matt Hotelling and the Raider offense. ThunderRidge, again, has a lot of people up close. And he's got 7 men on the line, and Hotelling's going to scramble out to the left side. Borderline holding. Hotelling's going to cut it up. Oh, you need to get down. Hotelling gets a tough hit, but that's enough for a first down. The Raiders might have gotten away with a hold on that last play.
And you saw Robert Orban there, Jake, protecting his quarterback, kind of throwing himself over and holding off some defenders who might have been trying to get some late hits or cheap shots. So smart play there by Robert Orban, even though Hotelling made a slightly not smart decision.
Yeah, you always want to tell your quarterback to get down, slide as soon as you are in danger of being tackled. But here's Hotelling again in motion, A.J. Shaw. And it's going to be a handoff now to Williams. Williams got some space, a first down and more. But there's a flag on the field, and this run will be negated. Disappointing. That's a big penalty. A 30-yard shift, negating a 20-yard run by Jalen Williams. So now Regis will have the ball on their own 30-yard line.
And we'll see, Jake, what the Raiders can do here. I imagine, as I was saying earlier, I think you need to go deep and try to catch them off guard.
Well, Steven, Regis might be forced to pass now. 1st and 20 is a very tough yardage to gain. So I would almost have to think that Regis will be forced to air it out in the next few plays. Hotelling is going to be, looks to be under center. Tight end flank on the right side, A.J. Shaw. ThunderRidge, again, stacking a line in their 5-2 Bear defense, but here's Shaw in motion, and I believe that's Jalen Williams who takes it out for almost no gain.
And Jake, now I imagine the Raiders going to pass, and I think just so that you have the possibility, I think you have to air it deep here and then see if you can get something, because 2nd and 19, you might as well go for it all rather than just half of it.
I agree, Steven. Hotelling's going to once again line up under center. ThunderRidge now in a 4-4-3. Interesting to see here what the defense does. In motion, John Schmidt. Handoff to Williams, who gets tripped up again for maybe 2 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 18. A definite passing situation now.
Really confused by that play call, Jake. You're going to do an up-the-middle run and hope you maybe get 7 yards and go for a 3rd and 13. Really confused by that call there, Jake.
With that play call, the Raiders force themselves in a 3rd and very long 18. He's got 4 receivers. Hotelling's going to scramble out to the right. He's looking deep downfield. Got his man John Schmidt out of bounds. Not enough for a first down. A pass of about 12 yards to, Cody Lippert. So, Steven, I think you have to punt here, though.
You definitely do, Jake. And I saw the play. They ran the trips on the right side. They ran Screaming Falcon, one of their favorite plays. And you really got to wonder why that Regis receiver didn't try to pick up the first. He was wide open on that side.
Yeah. I mean, now Regis has a 4th and 6 from their own 44. Sebastian Harris to punt. Good snap. Sebastian's punt is low, but he angled it nicely. It'll be inside and fielded at around the 10 and dropped quickly by the Raider punt coverage. So a very nice punt by Sebastian Harris. Almost again about a 43-yard punt net, so nice job, Sebastian.
And Sebastian really seems on his game tonight, Jake. Seems like he's doing a good job, and he knows what he has to go out there and do. And ThunderRidge stuck with tough field position again. We'll see if the Raiders can stop them like they have been all night.
So now here comes Westmoreland. Westmoreland looking to the left side. Complete to number 4, Mark Hopper. Hopper tangled up, and he'll get finally smothered by the Raider defense, but a pass of about 6.
And, Jake, that's ThunderRidge football you're seeing there. That really opens up all of the options. Now you got a 2nd and 4, and you have about 4 options here if you're ThunderRidge. A quick dump pass, a run by Westmoreland, a handoff to Ray, a pitch to hand. The options are absolutely endless in this pistol offense right now, and this is what it's made for.
So Westmoreland again in the pistol. 3 receivers. He's going to pull the handoff back and run it around on the right side. He tries to hop over a Raider defender, and he'll take it out across to the 32-yard line for a ThunderRidge first down.
And, Jake, we'll see here what ThunderRidge does. They really have the momentum now. You can kind of tell they're getting more comfortable, and this is ThunderRidge in their element, as I was discussing earlier, Jake. So, we'll see here what ThunderRidge does. I imagine we'll see another run.
1st and 10 from the 32. Westmoreland going to scramble out to the left, and he's going to hand it, and he jukes out some Regis defenders with his play at pump fake, and he'll take it across the 50-yard line. That's a run of about 20 yards. So Westmoreland making the Raiders pay with his feet.
And, Jake, that was actually about 27 yards tacked on if you look at the end of that. So great run by Westmoreland. And when you have athletic skills like that, you don't have to go down. He's that special quarterback where he can run and he can take those hits and still get back up.
And also, Steven, the Grizzlies going in a hurry up now. He's going to hand it up off the middle to hand. Hand met by number 44 for the Raiders. That's Declan Brown. Had a nice job to meet hand for only a couple of yards.
And, Jake, we'll see here with the Raiders. I think you really need to try to rush 5 or 6 here and get him in the backfield, because if you give ThunderRidge a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 5, that is the pistol's element.
Right, you are, Steve, and the pistol really effective when you have the option of both run and pass. Regis should consider putting a spy on Westmoreland, because he's been very difficult to track down. Westmoreland going to try to pull it back, but he will not be able to from Ray. So now the Raider offense has forced the Grizzlies into a 3rd and about 7. We'll see Steven run or pass.
I think you're going to look for an option run here, Jake. You're going to have receivers as an out if the play goes terribly wrong, but I imagine we actually see Westmoreland pitch it out to hand on the left side, so they're going to run up top with a pitch. That's my guess.
6:35 to go in the first half of play. Westmoreland lining up once again in the pistol. Westmoreland scrambling out to the left. He's looking deep across the middle. He doesn't find anybody. He's going to run and throw it. Pops it up, and the pass falls incomplete off the hand of Jesse Krieger. Popped it up and was not able to catch it on the tip. So it'll be 4th down, and now a very interesting decision time for the Grizzlies.
Jake, I know where you are, but I really don't think this is a go-for-it situation. You can't give the Raiders such good field position again.
Yeah, Steven, I think what it really comes down to is if he respects the Regis offense as a legitimate threat, and Westmoreland's still on the field. So I would say that at the moment it looks like they're going to go for it. Ball.
I just don't think they trust their punter, Jake. We saw his first punt, and I don't think I would either.
Ball on the 45. Westmoreland going to run it. He's got nothing. And a nice job by the Raider defense to swarm the Grizzlies. And a turnover on downs with the tackle of Jake Hand gives the Raiders great field position on their own 43-yard line with 6:12 to go in the first half.
And, Jake, interesting play call there. You have so many options you can run if you're ThunderRidge, and that's what you decide to run. I'm really baffled by some of the play calls here tonight.
So a great opportunity for the Raiders now on offense. Hotaling under center. ThunderRidge in their 5-2 Bear defense. Hotaling going to hand it off to Williams. Williams will fight for maybe 2 yards, 3 yards. And it'll be 2nd down and 8.
I imagine we'll see. I honestly think the right call here is, Jake, I know many people still don't trust him as much, but I think you let Hotaling throw here. You let him run maybe eagle, and you see if you can catch a tight end over the middle. I really think that's the call here.
Hotaling's going to hand it off again to Williams. Williams stays on his feet on the outside to fight for another good 4 yards. So now it'll be 3rd down and 3.5. Dead on the 50-yard line. A very interesting, Stephen, I'd say this is still running territory for the Raiders.
I think it is, Jake, but I hate this distance on this down for the Raiders. 3rd and 3.5, 4, because it is almost in the middle there. And the Raiders are so their running game can either be fantastic or it can be dismal on this play. So these plays always freak me out.
3rd and 3. Hotelling going to hand off to Williams. Williams has a first down and more. Williams at the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15. And he finally gets taken down. A nice hole opened up for him in the middle. And Williams with a run of 37 yards.
And we've seen the dismal, Jake, and there's the fantastic. And that's exactly what I'm saying. There's no real median for the Regis running game, which is absolutely fantastic when you get big plays like that. And I absolutely love that. It's really exciting football and really effective football for the Raiders.
A great job by the offensive line to open up a big gaping hole for Jalen Williams. 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. 4:44 left to go in the second quarter. Hotelling getting signals from McPhee and the Raiders sideline. Number 3, Trevor Williams, is now in at tailback with the fullback. That's number 55, Connor Warren, and Regis will call a timeout. So, Steven, what do you expect the Raiders to do here?
Jake, I think since you are so close to the end zone, you got to go back to fundamental Regis football and run. I think you got to throw Jalen Williams in, or Chase Bernelli, let them put their head down and just grind away 4 downs in a row, and just see if you can maybe pop it into the end zone or at least inside that first down marker. And for those of you watching, I'd like to introduce you, in case you missed it, to Quick Score. It's a server held by Max Press. We'll be updating it throughout the game, and it is just great score updates, possession updates, and time updates throughout the game on a convenient, very convenient system. You just tune into Quick Score, you search Regis Jesuit, and it'll be right there. You just search Quick Score. It's also a mobile application on your phone, so you can keep up to date, even if you can't sit on your computer and watch us.
So, thank you, Steven. And the Raiders can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. And here's a handoff to Williams. Williams fighting his way inside the 10-yard line. It will be tackled right on the 10-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 7. 4:18 to go in the first half.
And Jake, there's one run. I think we have 3 or 2 more here, or however many it takes to get to the end zone. Just put your head down and take it in.
4 minutes to go in the half. Hotelling in an I formation. ThunderRidge in. It's 5-2. Hotelling going to hand off to Williams. Williams trying to break away on the right side. He'll get tackled for a gain of a yard. And an interesting situation here for the Raiders on 3rd and 6. I'd say this is probably a passing situation, Steven.
You know, Jake, I think it is, but I can also see a definite outside run here. Maybe you throw trips on one side and use them as blockers. I think it's a passing situation, but this is where Hotelling gets into trouble passing, is when he doesn't have space to just air it out and hope. So, really interesting play call here.
3:20 to go in the second quarter. Here's Hotelling. Man in motion. And Hotelling's going to hand it off to Williams. Williams gets nothing, so really Regis does the same play 3 times and gains about 4 yards total. So we'll see if we'll get Harrison Thrasher out for a field goal attempt here.
I think that's the wise thing to do here, Jake. Just get points and get the lead.
Harrison Thrasher, a very good kicker, I'd say, and I believe, Steven, he has not attempted a field goal yet this year. He ran out in formation last week, but they ended up drawing the defense offsides. So Thrasher kicking from the 15-yard line, a 25-yard attempt. Good snap, hold, the kick is up, and it is good. Harrison Thrasher straight through the wickets with 2:33 left. Regis has regained the lead, 10-7 over ThunderRidge.
And Jake, I'm surprised we didn't maybe get a roughing the kicker call there. Maybe the ref saw that they got close enough in the time, but I really thought that was a roughing the kicker call.
Yeah, Harrison Thrasher took a rough spill to the turf. We'll see what Westmoreland can do with 2:33. Vince Saban to do the kickoffs. Vince handles the kickoff duties while Harrison Thrasher kicks field goals. And so far, Vince has been very good, kicking 2 kickoffs into the end zone for automatic touchbacks. So the crowd is getting excited, and Saban's kick. Not as far this time. It'll be fielded at around the 10. Run out on the right side, and that's number 33 trying to sidestep some people. Nice spin move there. That's Colin Hankins.
And Jake, I really think the Raiders, this will be a huge stop for them if they can get the stop here and maybe even get the ball back with time on the clock to give Harrison Thrasher another chance. So we'll see here what the Raiders can do. And definitely, I think the Raiders' defense is capable of stopping them here in 3 plays and giving Harrison Thrasher maybe another chance for hoteling.
Definitely, Steven. And now Westmoreland now out in an I formation. He's going to pitch it to Ray. Ray breaking some tackles, and he's got a first down out to about the 44-yard line.
And, Jake, great clock management there. If you're going to run the ball, you got to either get out of bounds or get a first down. ThunderRidge did both. So we'll see here. If ThunderRidge runs like that, they can run it all they want, not worry about the clock, Jake.
2:18 to go, and there's a stoppage of play. Timeout. Regis, so Coach Nolan burning his second timeout of the half, and we'll see here what he draws up on defense.
And, Jake, I really think this is actually a timeout to preserve the clock maybe in case his Raiders do get a stop because Hoteling's known to, as we've seen, he can work under a running clock. So really interesting call by Nolan, but I can see the logic behind it.
I don't know, Steven. I think that with 2:15 left, you can't assume that you're going to get the ball back. So if anything, I think Nolan did not feel comfortable with his defense that was out on the field. But it'll be interesting to see here if ThunderRidge airs it out because really they have not passed much this first half.
They really haven't, Jake, and it's really shocking. Since they've got the run game working so well, I'm surprised ThunderRidge hasn't passed because the Regis secondary is so weak sometimes. And I really hope ThunderRidge coaches can't hear us through the booth.
And Westmoreland's going to hand it off to number 31, Jake Hand. And again, the clock goes tick-tock, tick-tock. We're approaching 2 minutes. And there is a timeout. Oh, an injury timeout on the Raiders. So, unfortunately, that will stop the clock.
And, Jake, that is my defensive hero, Eddie Gonzalez. I've absolutely fallen in love with him over the season. Shout out to our athletic trainers. Getting out there really quick, and they're absolutely fantastic. So really help out the Raiders football team, and they're absolutely fantastic, including our student athletic trainers. Just so reliable. Dylan Campbell out there, just absolutely fantastic student athletic trainer. So we'll see if Eddie can get back on the field. I'm really concerned, Jake. He's my defensive hero.
Yes, we all know, Steven. And now the clock is running again. Westmoreland going to hand off again. Some trouble initially, but that's Ray. Ray tumbling his way very close to a first down. We'll see where they get it. We'll see if we have a measurement here. Nope, they're just going to give him the first down. So now 1:47 left. And the ball is on the Regis Jesuit 46-yard line. So now here's Westmoreland in the pistol. 2 receivers left. Westmoreland scrambling out to the left side. He's looking pretty deep down the sidelines and overshoots number 4. That's Mark Hopper. Westmoreland had a man there, but just sailed his pass a little too high and a little too far left.
And Jake, the clock really not coming into play for ThunderRidge. Still have 1:36 left. So great clock management here by the Grizzlies, even if it's unintentional.
Yeah, 1:36 to go, 2nd and 10 from the 46. Westmoreland looking straight down the middle of the field to number 31. Just overshoots Jake Hand. But Westmoreland is very, very close, but yet, Steven, he's almost out of touch with his receivers.
He really is, Jake, and he's the only Grizzly that hasn't really found his element yet. Ray starting to find his element here, as we saw in that last run. Hand's been in his element since early in the first quarter, and the Grizzly line's finding their element about midway end of the first, start of the second quarter. So he's really the only one out of sync right now for the Grizzlies.
So now Hand, they're in a bunch shotgun, and he's going to throw. Oh, very close to passing the line of scrimmage. And yes, indeed, that's a flag. So they ruled that Westmoreland was above the line of scrimmage when he threw that pass. So this one will be negated. Improper conduct and it'll be 3rd down and long. So a break for the Raiders.
So key, Jake, and he's almost done that 2 or 3 times tonight. Finally got caught on it. That's what's dangerous about a scrambling quarterback trying to make throws on the run who has so many options where he can either run or throw, because sometimes they can't make up their mind quick enough, and it leads to these penalties. And, Jake, I believe that's the 5th penalty on the Grizzlies. Have the Raiders seen a flag tonight?
I think that Regis, I'm not sure. I know that, well, actually, ThunderRidge just had like 3 or 4. They had that block in the back.
They had
and
the
then,
block in the back.
And the holding and the false start.
And then this one. Okay, so they've had 4 or 5, I think. But I think the Raiders might have had 1, but it's vastly different from the Mullen game.
Yeah, a great job by the Regis defense to win the discipline battle and offense, so it'll be a loss of down penalty, so they will punt. And catching the ball is Alex Mitchell, who bobbles it temporarily, but now he's running. And Alex Mitchell will take it out to about the 27. There's a flag on the play, a very late flag, so we'll see if that's a late hit on the Grizzlies. Clipping on the Raiders, so with 1:05, Regis will be starting deep within its own territory once again. Steven, I am actually not too clear on what the definition of clipping is.
I believe it is an illegal block in the legs of the defender that is intended maybe as a more vicious block than necessary. I believe it's where they hit them in the legs and completely take the legs out from under them without the defender really seeing what's coming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think, Steven, now I remember, it's when the defender kind of really just tries to take out the legs, but the blocker is not watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So now Matt Hotelling will see if he just tries to run out the clock. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and that on that handoff is number 24, Jalen Williams. So we're under a minute to play in the first half, Steven. It looks like Coach Nolan will just play for the half, but ThunderRidge will call a timeout here.
And, Jake, if you're the Raiders, that means you have to get a first down or the Grizzlies are going to get the ball back, because the Grizzlies do have all 3 timeouts. So I don't know if that could help the Regis offense in the long run if they get a first down. But we'll see if they can take advantage of this. If you're the Raiders, you might as well go for it now, because you know ThunderRidge is going to give you time.
Steven, I think that's good strategy by the ThunderRidge coach to call timeout there. Force the Raider offense to do something deep in their own territory. We can be sure that the Grizzlies will be stacking against the run here with less than a minute to go.
And the Regis Jesuit Raiders here, I really think you just air one out on second down and then worry about picking it up on third. Kind of like the UCLA-USC mishap that happened a couple of years back where they didn't see it coming and USC just threw a Hail Mary.
Oh, our college football references. And it's going to be a handoff to Williams, and Williams has more than enough for a first down. So now the tables have turned, and it'll be interesting to see if Regis maybe tries to run a few more plays in the half after picking up that first down.
And, Jake, they're still so deep, I don't think you have to. And with that, even if they do punt, they'll be punting with about 3 seconds on the clock with a high school play clock if ThunderRidge does call timeouts. So I think Coach Nolan should just run a couple run plays and then just take it in the locker room with the lead, Jake. You didn't think you'd have the lead, and you have it.
Hotelling's going to scramble out to the right. He's going to throw it down the field, and it's caught by Lippert for a first down. And, Steven, that play is called
the Screaming Falcon. Regis, by my count, Jake, has now run that play 42 times in 3 games. 42.
Steven, we all know your mental calculator is impeccable, so if you say it, it is true. 31.6 seconds to go in the first half, and Hotelling's got 4 wide receivers. Interesting to see. ThunderRidge looks to stack the line, and now he's going to run out to the left side, and he'll throw it up to Lippert. Hit a little bit early, but the ball was tipped, so that's not a flag. 25.7 seconds to go.
And we saw trips out there, Jake, and if our audience wants to play along, that play for the 43rd time in 3 games was the Screaming Falcon. Eagle is where they only have 2 receivers outside, and they run it. Screaming Falcon's where they have trips.
So now, 2nd and 10 from the Regis Jesuit 43-yard line. Again, 25.7 seconds to go. Hoteling getting in some last-minute signals from the sideline. Robert Orban and A.J. Shaw are at the top of the screen. In motion, A.J. Shaw. Hoteling going to fake the handoff. He's looking. He gets drilled, and I think that's a fumble. A nice job to hop on that by number 55. That's Connor Warren. Very dangerous there. And now I figure Regis will just take this into the half. The coaches are getting close to walking it off, and that is the first half.
So, Jake, really strong half there from the Raiders. What do you think the Grizzlies are going to be talking about in the locker room?
Well, I think, honestly, everyone can be shocked. You look at the scoreboard, it's 10-7. No one saw this coming. The Regis Jesuit Raiders with a 2-2 record up at halftime against the third team in the state. And yes, Steven Snyder, I know you did call this, but you're a Regis homie. So, I mean, we all know.
Indeed. I don't think anybody really did see this coming, Jake. I mean, I was hopeful, but I didn't think I'd see the real Regis dominance we've seen. The scoreboard doesn't really tell the full story of the Raiders' dominance, and I think we'll hear more about that in our Raider recap with Joe Quigley and Andrew Reel.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, now we welcome you to our traditional Raider recap with the awesome Joseph Quigley and the Andrew Reel, and we'll hand that over to them real quick.
Starting in about 15 seconds.
After we take a quick break on RJ Live.
Ole, 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 Regis Raider fans. It's your boy Andrew Reel and Joe Quigley up in the booth. Raider recap, Regis Jesuit, ThunderRidge, close game. What do you make of it so far, Joseph?
Absolutely fantastic game, Andrew. ThunderRidge ranked number 2 in the state. Regis Jesuit coming in on a 2-game losing skid. It's an absolutely fun game to see. Some great football out there.
Oh, it is some great football for sure, and it's great to see the Regis football team putting together some good drives, staying calm, cool, collected, and getting ready to go.
Definitely seeing a lot of production out of tailback Jalen Williams, busting through a couple of big gains, and not to mention his very solid, just chipping away at the 10 yards to move the chains. Very, very solid running game tonight.
Well, a weakness for the Raiders is definitely not a lack of depth at running back. They got some great running backs. It seems like when one goes down, another comes right in, fills the spot, and keeps chipping away at that defense.
Absolutely, and right now when Jalen Williams is tired, we have his brother Trevor Williams come in and fill the void. We have players for days out on that Regis depth chart.
Yeah, that's great to see, Joseph. It's great to see that for the future. It's great to see that for this year.
Absolutely. What do you think that the ThunderRidge coach is telling his players in the locker room right now?
Well, despite the score, ThunderRidge did put together some great drives. I mean, they have that power pistol set that just, I mean, it's kind of stumping that Regis defense. But I think he's telling them to stay calm, minimize the mistakes, and get out there and get some work done.
Absolutely. And Coach Nolan in the Raider locker room, what's he saying to his squad?
Well, Coach Nolan is probably a very happy man right now because it's probably great to see the Regis Raiders coming in as such underdogs against such a state power and dominant power in the conference who was actually projected to win the conference preseason. So, I mean, it's great to see the Regis Jesuit Raiders kind of giving them a scare right now.
Absolutely. We saw a big drive from the Raiders ending in an Alex Mitchell touchdown. Great throw from Matt Hotaling, and then good kicking play from Harrison Thrasher to put us up by 3, taking the lead in the half.
It's great to see Matt Hotaling really coming into his own as we start the conference schedule. He's coming out there, he's throwing some great passes, he's making some great reads, and getting a lot more production than we've seen the first 4 games.
Hotaling's starting to look a lot more comfortable in the pocket. He seems to be scrambling out on that screaming Falcon play a whole 42 times in the last 3 games. It's good to see him taking those pocket throws and finding those receivers because they're open. They want those balls.
You're sure right, Joe. They definitely do want them, and and like you said, it's great to see him rolling out there. He's always ready. He's always ready to go, and he's ready to be a dual-threat guy if he has to be, and it's great to see him really coming into that pocket passer-type quarterback.
ThunderRidge's defense not showing up what we thought they would show up with. What do you think their keys to the second half are to stop this Raider offense?
Well, definitely. I mean, playing ThunderRidge last year, they really like to overload the box, a very blitz-heavy team. And while I am seeing blitzes, they're not blitzing with the same load that they were doing last year. So I think they're going to come out, they're going to try and pressure a young Matt Hotaling into making some mistakes and showing that sophomore in him starting on varsity.
I agree 100%, Andrew. We've seen that the Grizzlies absolutely packing the box. At times it looks like they're running a 6-2 instead of a traditional 4-3 or 3-4. They're absolutely stacking that box, hoping to stop the Raiders' run game or even get some pressure on Hotaling.
Well, the mentality of this ThunderRidge defense is we're going to stack the box so you can't run on us. And then when you're going to try and pass on us, we're going to either sack your quarterback or we're going to hurry him up and make him make some mistakes. It's definitely a very, very dominant defensive game that not a lot of teams are playing nowadays.
Absolutely. And Raider defense just holding this high-powered Grizzly offense to 7 points. It seems the Raiders are clicking on all cylinders. Their pass rush is there, their running stop is there, and their pass defense seems to be making big plays out there. This Raider defense is really coming into their own.
Well, they've definitely done a good job in containing the long, long run, but what I'd like to see from the Regis Raiders coming out here is to contain those short to medium yard gains around maybe 3 to 7 yard range, because like I've been saying on all games, those are the types of plays and drives that just really wear down on a defense both physically and mentally.
We've seen the Grizzlies run a lot of that triple option through their quarterback. Do you think that the Raiders are going to start running like spy out there, maybe try to shut that down?
You know, I don't know if they're running a spy, but I know the one thing about the triple option is when a team comes out and uses it, they really confuse the defense they're playing against to start, because it's just an offense that not too many teams run. But once the defense starts to get used to it, more comfortable, they start to make more stops. And I'm looking to see the Raider team not necessarily bring a spy, but make some better reads out there, because they do have a mobile quarterback back there.
Absolutely. We saw Eddie Gonzalez go down late in the second quarter. Now the Raiders are running a 3-4. Do you think we can expect Eddie to come back out, back to their traditional 4-3, or are they going to have to play heavy linebackers?
I don't know if Eddie's going to be able to come back. I mean, up there filming, you can really see how severe the injury may or may not have been. He looked pretty hurt down there, but confidence in these Raider linebackers is key. But like I said, the 3-4 is not something they play a lot. They're usually a 4-4 split, which is another defense that not many teams are running nowadays. But I think that they're seasoned linebackers. They know what's happening, and they're going to be able to get in there and make some plays.
Absolutely. Let's say Eddie Gonzalez doesn't come back in for the second half. How does that affect this Raider defense having to run the 3-4 the entire night?
Well, it could go either way because they're a team that is coached to be able to do it all if they have to. But running the 3-4 is not something I think both these linebackers and these defensive linemen are used to, because just from a defensive lineman standpoint, running the 3-4, they're going to have more gap integrity, have to hold their assignments better, and really bear down against that ThunderRidge offensive line.
The defensive line's having a very big night tonight. Antonio Brodas and Michael Gunther making some huge plays for the Raiders. Brodas coming up with 1 or 2 sacks and stopping the run game in the backfield. And Gunther definitely pressuring that center, making Westmoreland draw back or even scramble out of the pocket.
Yeah, the defensive line has definitely been playing a great game. But unfortunately, the problem with that is that Westmoreland can scramble. So if he runs outside the pocket, it's going to be up to the linebackers and the safeties and the corners to be able to really contain that.
Speaking of those safeties and corners, they're playing a great game tonight. They're not giving up too many big plays, definitely locking down on their receivers. And even when the passes do get there, they are closing very quickly, trying to make sure they get no yards after catch or even the catch at all.
They're getting inside those ThunderRidge receivers' heads, and they are making this ThunderRidge team a one-dimensional team, which I can tell you can last for a little bit, but if you're one-dimensional, you're not going to be winning too many games.
Absolutely. And in that, you have to have a good special teams, and we haven't seen too many great special teams play from the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. Their punter coming out with some short punts, and then the punt coverage not very strong either, with a lot of big returns from Will Dynas and Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, well, Will Dynas and Alex Mitchell are definitely having a field day back there, running all over this Grizzly defense when it comes to returns. And I'd look for them to just that only to build on their confidence and for them to come out and Regis special teams to continue to be dominant.
What are your keys to the second half for this Raider offense and defense if they want to win this game?
My key to the Raider offense is to minimize mistakes, because they have shown that they can drive on this Grizzly defense if they want. They need to minimize fumbles, minimize pointless penalties, and capitalize when they can. And for the Regis defense, I think they just have to keep making it a one-dimensional game, force ThunderRidge to run, and run some more, and just stuff them when they do. And if they can get that done, make them a one-dimensional team, and really pressure that run, then I think the Regis defense the Regis Raiders are going to come out here with a win tonight.
Keys to the game for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies.
Keys to the game for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies are to definitely get out of that one-dimensional game. Come out here, run some passes, get some completions, build some confidence in the pocket presence of that quarterback, and get ready to roll for this offense, because they can run the ball. They can run that triple option well. So the ground game necessarily isn't too much of a problem for them as of yet, but they need to get that passing attack in there pretty soon if they want to keep up with this Regis offense. And as far as the defense goes, I think they need to make Matt Hoteling make mistakes, because this Regis running back core has proven that no matter who is out there, they will run the ball and they will be dominant running it. So I think they need to focus on making Matt Hoteling make some mistakes and showing his sophomore traits out there.
Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you for listening to the Raider Recap at halftime with Andrew Reel and myself, Joe Quigley. We'll see you back in a few minutes for the start of the second half.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the start of our second half here at Shea Stadium in Highlands Ranch. After one half, we have a shocker. Regis Jesuit up 10-7 over undefeated ThunderRidge, ranked third in the Denver Post Preps poll. Regis Jesuit will get the ball to start the second half. And Steven, what are your thoughts now?
Jake, my thoughts are the Raiders need to take this drive and really make it mean something. Because if they can get up 2 scores on the Grizzlies are going to have a heck of a mountain to climb, especially with Moreland off his game.
Hopper with a kickoff, fielded at around the 3 by Dines. Dines shaking it up on the right side. Nice moves to get almost to the 30-yard line.
And, Jake, I found out during halftime the player carted off was DeJour Elliott. Couldn't find out what happened to him, but he's a really key receiver for the Raiders. And anytime they run Screaming Falcon to the left, he's the receiver they throw it to. So really key there for the Raiders.
So, Steven, that would explain why Cody Lippert has been in the Screaming Falcon recently, making some receptions. So here comes Hotelling with the Raiders. The ball will be spotted on the 27-yard line, first down and 10. Under center, here come the Grizzlies in a 5-2 defense as they've run all night. And here comes Hotelling. Quick pass on the right side. And it is almost caught by number 80, Alex Mitchell. But borderline pass interference, no call. What do you think, Steven?
I think that was borderline pass interference on Alex Mitchell, Jake. Looks like he pushed off a little. He got a really good look at that ball. So I think they've got to be careful because there is such a thing as offensive pass interference, and the refs will call it.
Yeah, Steven, I think especially after the Monday Night Football debacle between Seattle and Green Bay, every referee in high school sports has second thought what they call pass interference. Now in motion, A.J. Shaw, second down and 10. Hotelling going to hand it up the middle to Williams. Williams got some run around the right side. Williams has enough for a first down, 11 yards, and a Raider first down.
And Jalen Williams tonight, Jake, he's really a go big or go broke running back. I don't think we've seen him have any runs in between that 5 or 6 yard range. He's either got less than 2 or more than 10.
Yeah, Steven, I echo your thoughts exactly. Jalen Williams also had a few big runs in the first half that came back because of holding penalties. But really solid performance by him. And props to Matt Hotelling for his beautiful touchdown pass in the first quarter to Alex Mitchell. 11:26 to go in the third quarter. Man in motion now, John Schmidt. Hotelling going to fake handoff. He's going to evade some tacklers and throw it to Robert Orban, who catches it for about 5 yards. So a nice job threading the needle in between some ThunderRidge defensive backs.
Robert Orban is such an asset, Jake, and I really don't know why they don't use him more. He is a fantastic blocker, and they use him there. But I really think they need to throw the ball to him. He has fantastic height. I mean, Robert Orban, I believe on my sheet, is listed at least 6'3", 6'4". So they need to utilize him more. He has such great hands, and I really think if they got it to him on short routes like that, he'd really be effective for the Raider offense.
Robert Orban, a big target, and A.J. Shaw in motion now. And it's going to be handoff to Williams. Williams going to fight his way for 2 yards and set up a 3rd and 2 situation with the ball on the Regis Jesuit 47-yard line. 10:18 to go in the third quarter, and Regis going to bring some new players on the field. Out goes Alex Mitchell, and in comes number 27, Jacob Van Loo, and Sebastian Harris. Stephen, I believe this is the first time I've seen Sebastian Harris come into play other than punting. So interesting to see what he does, what Coach Bob McPhee dials up here on 3rd and very short.
And he's really a great tight end, Jake. I'm surprised we haven't seen him this year because he... Oh, timeout. We'll see if Sebastian stays on the field, but he's really great. He has great hands. So if he can get a little more strength in him and get by a ThunderRidge receiver, I think we should look for a pass here because Sebastian's not the greatest blocker.
Yeah, I agree, Steven. It seems peculiar that Sebastian would come into the game instead of Alex Mitchell or Robert Orban, but we'll see what Coach Nolan and Coach McPhee decide to do here on 3rd and short. this is the part of the field, Stephen, where you can really do whatever you want on offense. You know, this is borderline 4-down territory, and you especially got to be looking out for trickery, because this is kind of the part of the field where teams feel like they have tons of options.
And I imagine, Jake, will see just how deep the bag of tricks is for Regis here, because I really think if you run a straightforward play, you're in danger of getting stuffed back into punting territory. So I imagine we'll see at least a little bit of trickeration from the Regis Jesuit Raiders here.
I like that word, Stephen. Trickeration.
I like it too, Jake. A lot of syllables, too.
3rd down and 2. 9:50 from the Regis Jesuit 47. In motion. Number 18, Thomas Donegan. Handoff up the middle. Very close to a first down, and he's got it. A first down, Raiders by inches. But a good job for the Raiders to gain the yardage necessary.
And really was, Jake. I imagine here on this first down play in this interesting territory, I think we could see Hotaling air it out here on first down just so he has a safety and have 2 plays.
Yeah, Steven, this would be a good opportunity for the Raiders to catch perhaps the ThunderRidge defense unsuspecting a pass. Schmidt in motion. He's not going to hand it off to Schmidt. He's going to scramble out to the right side, and he's going to throw it, and it's going to be intercepted. That's number 18, Matt Mallon. Oh, man, Steven, you said that we wanted to pass it, but Hotaling's pass finds the arms of Matt Mallon really right at him.
Matt Mallon was staring that down the entire way, Jake. And I really think if you're going to do underneath passes, you have to do a 5 or 6 yard underneath. Regis was trying about a 9 or 10 yard underneath route, which really turned into a full route that was guarded by the DB Mallon.
Really not a good pass there by Hotaling. It seemed to miss his intended receiver by quite a bit, but now Westmoreland will bring the Grizzlies out, and a nice smothering by the Regis defense. That is number 53, Eddie Gonzalez, Steven, making the tackle on Steve Ray.
And great play there by number 5, Joe Bozeman, just to kind of look down Westmoreland, make sure he pitched, and then go for Ray at running back. And not committing to Westmoreland fully at the start. And I think the Raiders finally starting to figure out this ThunderRidge Grizzly offense.
And, Steven, so crucial to an effective option is covering your men on defense. And now he's going to air it out long to hand. And good coverage there by number 32 for the Raiders. That is Daniel Talley. But that pass falls incomplete and 3rd and long.
And, Jake, I think here the ThunderRidge Grizzlies have to pass. Their running game has just been shut down at the end of this second quarter and now in the start of this third quarter. So we'll see here Regis secondary really outperforming their normal performance tonight.
And Westmoreland's going to go with a delayed screen pass over the middle to Jake Hand, and Hand's got some room out across near the 33-yard line of the Raiders. So a big, nice design delayed pass for almost 20 yards and a Grizzly first down. So sadly, the 2 nice defensive plays to stop them initially do not pay off. The Grizzlies managed to convert on 3rd and 10. And now here's Westmoreland. The Grizzlies are going hurry up. Westmoreland looking quick on the right side. Pass wide open to number 4, Mark Hopper. And taking advantage of the Regis defensive backs playing off the line of scrimmage, Hopper gets almost 10 yards.
And Jake, ThunderRidge really rolling now. If you're the Raiders, you got to have a big stop. I think you got to rush 5 or 6 here and try to get a backfield play to at least get some momentum.
8:22 to go here in the third quarter. Westmoreland in a pistol. There's a stoppage of play, and it looks to be an official measurement, so we'll see if that last pass to Hopper from Westmoreland was enough for a Grizzly first down.
And Jake, really a free timeout for ThunderRidge because you're going to be able to pick up that distance in almost any play unless the Raiders get a great jump snap. So I really don't think this is like a free timeout for ThunderRidge, and I think they should really take advantage of it.
And we're going to see what the official ruling is. The official really having to find out if it was short. And we believe that the ruling is that it was short after the measurement. So it will now be 2nd and inches.
Jake, I think if you're ThunderRidge, you still play this like a first down. And if on 3rd down you have to pick it up, you go for it. but I think you can play the second down play as risky or as conservative as you really want.
Yeah, this is a perfect time for ThunderRidge really to try to take a deep shot to the end zone, Steven, because really, if it falls incomplete, you can easily do a quick run up the middle or a quarterback sneak to pick up the few inches.
And it really is, Jake. I imagine we might see that here, but it'll be interesting because Hand's not on the field, and he seems like their marquee receiver today.
So Westmoreland in the pistol. Behind him is Ray. In motion number 1, he's going to take it. He's going to not hand it off to Ray, and he is barely tripped up. Steven, if he was not tripped up there, he would have been in for a ThunderRidge touchdown, but it is enough for a Grizzly first down at the Regis Jesuit 17-yard line.
And, Jake, we'll see here Raiders backs against the wall again. ThunderRidge able to handle them last time, but we'll see if this time the Raiders can handle them. I imagine, I'm telling you, Jake, the Raiders need to rush 4 or 5.
Yeah, Regis not had a lot of pressure so far. In motion, Krieger. Westmoreland going to try to roll. I wonder if he trips, Steven, because he'll get no yardage there. And it'll be second down and 10. So, Steven, really here in the Regis Jesuit red zone, crucial that the defense tries to limit ThunderRidge to a field goal attempt. Because I'll say one edge that I give the Raiders in against almost every team is field goal kicking. I think Harrison Thrasher is definitely an above-average kicker, and we don't really know how good of a kicker ThunderRidge has.
Jake, and really based on the kickoffs, he doesn't really have the aim unless they run a Vince Saban-Harrison Thrasher combo. I don't think the ThunderRidge kicker has the aim for field goals, and it's really nice because we haven't seen a lot of high school kickers you can trust, like Coach Nolan can trust Harrison Thrasher.
Yeah, Harrison Thrasher worth the soccer football combo, and now it's a handoff to Hand, and Hand gets good yardage at the 11-yard line. It'll be third down and 3, so this is a big play, Steven. Regis, the defense, really needs to stop ThunderRidge from converting here.
And I think, Jake, the key is to stop them on the hash marks and make them think if their kicker can make it. If you stop them in the middle of the field, it's going to be a no-brainer kicking situation, and they have a lot better chance to make it. So I think you'll see the Raiders try to push them to the outside and then make the stop.
So it'll be third down and 3 from the 10-yard line, Westmoreland. And there will be a stoppage of play. That is a timeout, ThunderRidge, so the Grizzlies will talk this play over. Steven, do you consider passing the ball here?
No, Jake, I don't think you do. It's just too dangerous, and at this point in the game, you could pass the ball, but you have the opportunity to at least tie the game. I think you run it, hope you pick up the first down or a touchdown, and if you don't, you kick the field goal and just keep this game close and hope you can win it in the end with your pistol offense.
And a big shout out to all the Regis Jesuit fans that made the trek here to Shea Stadium tonight. We've got a good 50 or so students here, so, it's always a big sacrifice when you're going to give up your Thursday night to forego some temporary studying and cheer on the football team, but we greatly appreciate all the fan support. Regis Jesuit, of course, has the best fans in the state of Colorado.
And, Jake, really difficult decision for those fans to give up homework time to come enjoy some time in a football game.
I give them, that's a tough decision, but I think they made the right one. You only get 9 of these a year, and you get maybe 100 homework assignments. And Westmoreland's going to try to take it himself, and he will not get it. So, Steven, decision time here. Do you go for it, or do you kick it?
I don't think ThunderRidge trusts their kicker enough. I think they're going to go for it. I think it's a no-brainer. I think that's what they might have been talking about. So we'll see here, but I assume they're going to go for it, Jake.
This would be very demoralizing for the Grizzlies if they don't pick this up.
But on the other side, demoralizing for the Raiders if they do.
Yeah, but the only thing on that is I would say that the Grizzly offense was probably expected to pound the ball in and be able to run in short yardage situations. So in motion, and Westmoreland's going to pitch it out. Outside number 5, and that's Steve Ray. Finagles his way inside the 5-yard line to about the 2. So that's a ThunderRidge first down.
And, Jake, really unfortunate there. I think since ThunderRidge is on the 2, unless you get a fumble, ThunderRidge is probably going to come away with 7 here because they are just such an effective running team inside the 5.
5:55 to go in the third quarter. ThunderRidge doing a quick hurry up, and it's going to be handoff right up the gut We'll wait for an official ruling. It's very close to the end zone, and it is a ThunderRidge touchdown. That's a Grizzly touchdown. We'll see who ran that in. I believe that was number 31, Jake Hand, taking that into the end zone. So now with 5:46 left, ThunderRidge is up 13-10, and we'll wait to see what happens on this extra point. Kicking is number 4, Mark Hopper. And Stephen, there we hear it. There's that beautiful Hail to the Victors ThunderRidge Grizzly fight song.
And we'll see if that song's appropriately named at the end of the night, Jake. I think Regis definitely could put up a decent fight here. Raiders still, to me, seem in control of this game.
So a good snap and hold. Hopper's kick is low, but I think it went over. Yeah, it did. So the kick was either blocked or it was just a bad kick, but somehow it managed to get 10 feet of air under it.
And Jake, I think that's part of the decision why the Grizzlies went for it. So I really don't think they can trust their kicker. So if Regis can hold the Grizzlies maybe to a tight game and get up about 3 points and then hold the Grizzlies out, it'll be interesting to see if the game comes down to a field goal or a go for it, what ThunderRidge does here, because that's really scary when you have a kicker like that and you can't trust him.
So we're going to take a quick break here on RJ Live and pick you back up for the kickoff. So here's Hopper to kick off. He does a short squib kick, and it's pretty effective. Dines doesn't find it, and it barely goes into the end zone. Steven, if that ball was 1 yard just 1 yard short, you would not have been able to just fair catch it or anything, and that would have been a live ball.
And really scary there, Jake. I thought Will Dines might have even touched it. So we'll see here what Regis Jesuit can do, starting with what seems to be, is this their worst field position of the night, Jake?
Yes, Stephen, I believe it is. Regis Jesuit with the ball on their own 20-yard line, and we'll see how Matt Hotelling can rebound from his interception, intercepted by Matt Mallon. Hotelling whispering some audibles to the line. And there's a whistle and a flag. We'll wait and see what the official call is. And it is offsides on the offense. Wow. That's not a normal penalty, Steven. And
that's really a head-scratcher, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, you think the easiest thing you can do is line up on sides, but I guess the Raiders just a little too in front of the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 1st down and 15. Hotelling going to hand it off to Williams. Williams darting his way up the field. He's got some room, and he's got some blockers. He's going to cut it right. And, excuse me, that's not Jalen Williams. That is number 3, Trevor Williams. His little brother, Trevor Williams, showing the moves. A big gain there for the Raiders, 35 yards.
Jake, I really thought he had it if he would have went outside there. I think he might have been a little too cautious, but I think I'd take the 30-yard run anyways. Just a thought.
A great job of the Regis blockers getting upfield and giving Trevor Williams some space. Now here's Hotelling from the 50-yard line. We are at 5:26 to go in the third period. Hotelling going to throw up in the air down the right side, and he underthrew it, and Robert Orban did not really give him help. Intercepted by number 33.
There's a flag on the field, Jake.
Colin Hankins.
See what this is.
Yeah, I believe the flag was for late hit on the Grizzlies, but that will not change the fact that it's an interception by ThunderRidge. That's really painful for the Raiders, and this could end up costing them, Steven.
It really will, Jake. That's really unfortunate. Oh, Jake, you can't just shoot yourself in the foot two drives in a row. The Raiders had such a great run game going. I don't know why they wouldn't keep running it.
On that pass, Steven, it looked like Robert Orban actually could have tried to get back to the ball a little better than he did. But That was number 33, Colin Hankins, there to make the easy interception. It kind of just floated right to him. Matt Hotelling underthrew that ball. So ThunderRidge will now get the ball on their own, looks like 14-yard line. But Matt Hotelling with 2 interceptions that have really changed the course of this game. And now we'll see what Westmoreland can do. Westmoreland going to look quick to the left, and that's to Mark Hopper. And there's a flag on the field. So we'll see what the call is on that. But, Steven, you just can't overstate how turnovers changed the game.
Was that maybe an illegal formation or false start? The official was moving his hands in that motion, but why did they let the play run on, Jake? We saw that last week.
I think if it's an illegal procedure, you can let the play go, and then the defense can choose whether or not they want to accept the penalty or not. That's the only reason I can really think of. But now the ball will be deeper into Grizzly territory. So if the defense can get a stop here, the offense would have pretty good field position pending a good punt return.
And, Jake, I don't really think you even need a good punt return. Even with a fantastic maybe 60-yard punt, the Raiders would still be sitting at about their 35-yard line. So we'll see here.
1st and 15 from the 9. Westmoreland going to hand it up the middle. That's to Jake Hand, and Hand is stuffed. They'll blow the whistle, but he got maybe 2 yards. Nice job by the Raider defense. It'll be 2nd down and 13 from the ThunderRidge 11.
And I think if you're ThunderRidge, Jake, you have to throw it here. You can't leave yourself with a 3rd and 10. I know your specialties, big plays, and the Raiders' defensive weakness specialty is giving up big plays, but I don't think you can leave that here, Jake. I think if you're ThunderRidge, you have to get it down to 5 or 6 yards.
4:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. Westmoreland lining up in the pistol again, 3 wide receivers. Regis in a 3-4. Westmoreland going to scramble out to the left side. He's looking deep down the field. He's got his man Hopper, and the pass is caught. They'll rule it complete. So that's a big 17-yard pitch and catch from Westmoreland to Hopper out to the Regis Jesuit 27-yard, out to the ThunderRidge 27-yard line.
And definitely, Jake, that's the pass, and that's the big play they needed. I think ThunderRidge here might even go deep again, try to shock the Raiders. Maybe with number 4 down here, John Schmidt.
So Westmoreland going to keep it and run upfield in the option, and he managed to power his way even with Raider defenders on him for almost 7 yards. A great job there.
Excuse me, Jake, that was a number 4, Mark Hopper.
So 3:50 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Steven, I think Regis really needs to try to limit ThunderRidge, if anything, to 3 points on this drive.
I really think that's key, Jake. And I think if you're the Raiders, you definitely want to come away with no points and get the lead back going into the 4th quarter, because that momentum, and the Raiders are a real 4th quarter team, averaging 14.5 points per 4th quarter. Definitely the biggest scoring quarter for them.
Westmoreland's going to not hand it off and run it himself for another 1st down. So Westmoreland's been an effective runner and made a couple crucial passes. So now it'll be 1st and 10 from the ThunderRidge 41-yard line with 3:20 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And Jake, Westmoreland showing his toughness, really. We'll see here.
And here's Westmoreland now. There's a flag on the play. Steven, did you see what that flag was for?
I think that was false start, Jake. I don't think there's anything else that can really be called there.
And right you are. So it'll be 1st and 15 now for the Grizzlies. It'll be backed up to the 36-yard line. Again, the problem, Steven, I feel with the Raiders trailing is that the offense is really a grinded-out team that utilizes the run so much that really the time can be a big enemy for the Raiders if they're trailing late in the game.
And it really can, Jake. We saw that last week. They had a great drive, but it took 7 minutes in the 4th quarter, and they weren't left with enough time to finish it off.
Westmoreland's going to throw it out to number 31, Hand, and he just misses that throw terribly. And you can see him on the field now, bent over, disgusted with himself because Hand was open, and had he hit Hand in stride, that would have been a ThunderRidge touchdown.
And, Jake, I really think the toughness of Westmoreland is going to be called into question here as we enter the fourth quarter. I mean, he's been an effective runner, but he's been taking some pretty serious hits. So I imagine we could see ThunderRidge running the ball even more, or throwing the ball, even more like that just to give him a break.
Yeah, Steven, we'll see what Westmoreland can do here if ThunderRidge wants to try to burn some clock. 2:55 left, and it's going to be a reverse to Krieger. Krieger taking it around, and he'll be met by the Raider defense, so that'll be a gain of 5, but it'll still be 3rd and 9 for the Grizzlies.
And, Jake, if you're the Raiders here, you have to stop them. If they break through this, I really think that the Raiders I think the Grizzlies can go down and score if they get through this barrier here because they will have full momentum.
So 2:44 to go in the third quarter. And, Steven, we'll see what happens here. Oh, my goodness. There's a personal foul face mask on the Raiders. So Regis just gifted ThunderRidge a first down. That is very, very damaging. And, wow, that's really terrible, Steven.
If you're the Raiders, Jake, I think they're telling ThunderRidge they want them to have the points at this point because that was your standing ground. That's where you could really make a stand, and you just gave it up.
Westmoreland throwing deep to number 4, but it's out of bounds. Very close, and it looks like number 4 is making his pitch that he caught it, but he was well out of bounds. Mark Hopper was open, so there's a flag on the field back in the backfield. And we'll see what the official ruling on this is. Looks to be against ThunderRidge as they are backing up. 2:31 to go in the third quarter with ThunderRidge leading 14-10 off of a run up the middle by Jake Hand, and then previously scoring in the first quarter with, Steven, do you remember what their first touchdown was?
I believe it was a 1-yard run by Ray, if I was correct.
Yeah, I think you're right. Both of them were runs into the end zone.
Short runs, one by Ray, one by Hand.
Right, you are. So now this is a pretty big yardage situation, 1st and 26, and they're going to hand it off to Ray. A nice job on the tackle. That is number 44 for the Raiders, Declan Brown, meeting Ray very close to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 24 now on the ThunderRidge 43-yard line. We're now just at about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Westmoreland going to line up in a pistol now, 3 receivers. Regis Jesuit in a 3-4 defense. Actually, a 3-3 with 5 defensive backs. Westmoreland going to throw deep down the left side, and he looks to got his man, Jesse Krieger. Steven, that was very, very, very poor coverage by the Raiders there to really cover the guy. And it'll still be 3rd and 12 just because how far back ThunderRidge was.
And great throw by Westmoreland there, Jake. I didn't know if you see it, but it looked like his other shoulder got ripped back as he was making the throw, and he still stayed calm and made the accurate throw, maybe with a little luck there. But Westmoreland showing the poise, and he's in his element now, Jake. You can tell.
So now it'll be 3rd and 12 from the 45. In motion, number 2, Sosoka. Westmoreland looking deep down the right side across the field. He's got his man, and he overshoots him. Westmoreland again disappointed in himself, but a big break for the Raiders, 4th down and 12. And we'll look to see the punt team here.
And we'll see, Jake. I can't see them going for it, but Westmoreland looks to still be on the field. Oh, no, here we go.
Yeah, Steven, I'd say just 12 yards is way too much to ever think of as having a decent chance to make. 1:46 to go in the third quarter, and Mark Hopper out to punt this, standing at his own 41-yard line. Deep to return for the Raiders is Will Dines, and Hopper's punt is high, not very long. Alex Mitchell calling for a fair catch. Not sure where the ball is. Regis backing away. Not a very long punt. In fact, that was only about 21 yards.
You know what the worst part is, Jake? That's not his shortest punt of the day for the Grizzlies. And if you're the coach, you got to be disappointed here. He's had 3 punts today, all of them inside 30 yards.
Yeah, Steven, I would say that one was probably his worst one, though, just because that it was not returned and it still only went 21 yards. But now we'll see what the Raider offense can do with the ball again, only down by 4 points. Can Hotelling rebound from his second interception of the game? So here's Hotelling in an I formation, only with 5 linemen near him and 3 receivers. ThunderRidge menacing a blitz, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Possibly, I think that was Trevor Williams, stopped for a short gain.
So we'll see here, Jake. I really like Regis utilizing the 2 running back system with Trevor and Jalen, just like they were using Grant, Neal, and Chuk Obana. So we'll see here what the Raiders can do. I imagine we'll see another run here, Jake. I can't see them passing after Hotelling's 2 mishaps.
Yeah, I agree, Steven. I think Hotelling, if anything, is pretty rattled. So hopefully some runs for good yardage can ease his nervousness. Under a minute to go. Here's Hotelling dropping back. He's going to throw right. Similar pass, and he way overshoots his man, Alex Mitchell. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 from the Regis Jesuit 27.
He is shaken in the pocket, Jake. He doesn't have the poise he's had or the confidence he's had after those 2 picks that he's carried with him for most of the last 2 games. So really questionable. And if you're the Raiders, you're in a dilemma here. What you do?
52.7 seconds left here on 3rd down and 8. 4 receivers for the Raiders. Hotelling's going to scramble out to the left. Looking downfield, he way overshoots his man. That was number 18 for the Raiders, Kevin Ware. So that was a very, 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 very quick series for the Raiders, taking up only about 30 seconds, and Regis will be forced to punt.
And, Jake, you can't have 46.7 second drives, actually exactly half the clock. And so we'll see here with the Raiders. The defense is working so hard, and they've got to be getting tired, Jake, with the offense having such short series.
I agree, Steven. The defense is more than pulling its weight, while the offense has just been very ineffective. Sebastian's punt almost gets blocked, but it's caught by Colin Hankins, and Colin Hankins evades some tackles, but taken down at the 40-yard line. So a pretty good job by Sebastian once again. A 35-yard punt, and ThunderRidge will set up shop at the 40-yard line.
And, Jake, Sebastian Harris really giving the defense opportunities here. And the Raiders, one thing I've noticed the Raiders have done absolutely impeccably that we haven't seen from any high school team lately is coverage on the punt returns. I don't think these ThunderRidge guys have got more than 3 yards on any return.
Yeah, Steven, I would give a big thumbs up to the Regis special teams department so far. And now here comes Westmoreland in an I formation. He's going to hand it off to Ray. Ray pounding his way into the Raider defense. He's going to get 6 yards. And we're now at 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Ray is like a wrecking ball. He just smashes into the Raiders' defense and hopes he gets somewhere. I saw that hit, Jake, and that was just Ray just put his head down and just collided, hoping to get yards, and that's a true power running back.
7 seconds left. We'll see if ThunderRidge can run one final play, and I don't think that they'll be able to. So that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. And our score at the end of 3, ThunderRidge 14, Regis Jesuit 10. We'll pick back up after this break.
And welcome back, everybody, to Shea Stadium on this Thursday night game between the ThunderRidge Grizzlies and the Regis Jesuit Raiders. Before we get started with this 4th quarter, we're just going to have a couple shout-outs here. First of all, a shout-out to the Regis Jesuit Rowdies, getting this crowd pumped up. Their captain, George Kiriazzi, specifically asked me for a shout-out here. Great play.
And here's Westmoreland now, a handoff up the middle to Ray, and Ray, the wrecking ball Ray, pounds his way for 9 yards and a ThunderRidge first down.
And then just a shout out to our cameraman, Andrew Reel, and our producer, Joe Quigley, working so hard behind the scenes to get you this video feed for us. Shout out to our trainers, including Sean Whitley. And quick shout out to our moderator, Mr. Dawkins, who just does so much for the club.
Right you are, Steven. Mr. Dawkins, always there for us, helping us out. And really, we are so grateful. I mean, when you think about it, it's amazing how far we've come as a club. Just recently in the past few years, going through massive expansion and just always unraveling new broadcasts like volleyball and hockey.
Even soccer now.
Our new stud, Joe Quigley, helping us produce tonight. You know, it's a team effort, and really it's awesome to be a part of it.
And, Jake, we love what we do, and we hope you all come back week by week to support us and tell your friends, because without an audience, we really don't have a purpose. We're bringing the game to you for convenience. So tell your friends, tell your relatives if you have them, tell grandparents.
Tell your acquaintances, tell your peers, tell people you don't really like. Ball on the 39-yard line for the Grizzlies. It's 3rd down and 4. And Westmoreland's going to keep it. He's going to take it around the left side. He's cutting it inside. He's got a first down. Steven Westmoreland is just so quick on his feet. Really, he can run either way, left or right, and up the middle. And really, the Regis defense has had no answer for his running.
And really, Jake, I think you need to put in an extra DB, take away a linebacker. You are playing a 3-4. So play 3 linemen, 3 linebackers, and put a defensive back QB spy in that can keep up with his speed. I think that's really the only answer.
So now it's 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. ThunderRidge with a good offensive drive. Regis in a 4-3. Westmoreland, 3-4. Westmoreland looking downfield. He's throwing to the end zone to number 4 and almost intercepted by number 32 for the Raiders, Daniel Talley, but a dangerous pass by Westmoreland. So lucky to have another chance are the Grizzlies.
And the Grizzlies very lucky to have another chance here. So we'll see here what the Grizzlies do with that second chance. I imagine we'll see 2 runs, Jake. I can't see him throwing again.
Yeah, Steve, and you know, ThunderRidge really is going to start thinking about trying to chew the clock on their drives. Not only are their runs their most effective plays, but when you run, you have the option to take a good 30 seconds off the clock every time. So now Westmoreland in I formation. He's going to hand it off to Ray. Ray misses 1 tackle. He takes it around to the 20-yard line, inside the 20, very close for a first down.
And, Jake, hopefully the Raiders can get the spot here. Looks like they're going to get the spot for a 3rd down and 1. We'll see if they can hold him off here and have the Grizzlies make a tough decision.
We're now at 10:05 to go in the 4th quarter, and, Steven, this is a pretty big stop. If ThunderRidge makes this the law of inertia, things that are in motion stay in motion, it's going to be pretty hard to stop the Grizzlies after this. And it's going to be a handoff up the middle to Ray. Ray looks to have the first down on the near sideline official spot, but it's pretty close.
And Ray, just a fantastic running back. He's a big kid, actually. If we look on the stats, only 5'9", but 195 pounds. So a lot of mass there, and when he gets moving, force equals mass times acceleration, and he can just blow through the line. Another Newton reference there for you, Jake.
Let's just keep the physics references rolling. I mean, that's like Monty Ball-esque, just super low center of gravity trucking people. I got to think of another physics line.
I'm sure we'll come up with one here soon, Jake.
So there's going to be a measurement on the field, and, he did not make it. I can't tell. It's extremely close. He's going to place down the card. He did not make it, so it'll be 4th down and inches.
I think ThunderRidge goes for this, Jake. I mean, they obviously don't trust their kicker, to be honest. So, We've clearly seen that this game, so I imagine Regis is just going to put 7 on the line and hope they can drive him back. Maybe even 9 in the box.
So it'll be 4th down and inches from the 18.5-yard line, 9:34 to go in the game. Regis will stack 9 players and ThunderRidge in a goal line set. Oh, Steven, this is a huge play. Here's Westmoreland under center. The defense really close, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle to Hand, and Hand has a first down.
And great design play there by ThunderRidge. All the linemen just going down and giving Hand just a chance to jump over and get the first down. So we'll see here if Regis can stop him here, but it's really tough to stop the Grizzlies inside the red zone, Jake.
Yeah, Steven, this is a short yardage team, a team that is extremely talented in running, but really when you get into short yardage situations, it's hard to stop them. 9-10, here's a handoff to Hand. He fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by the Raiders. Regis gets a new life, and at 9:05, Hand inexplicably drops the ball, and now the Raiders will take over on the 20-yard line.
Man, Jake, what a turn of events. And if you're the Raiders, you got to be ecstatic. You got to take this momentum, and you just got to march down this field and get some points here. Probably touchdown, but Harrison Thrasher with a great leg. You can't settle for a field goal, but Jake, the point is here is take this momentum and turn it into points. You can't be stopped here. If you stop here, the game is almost over, Jake.
Oh, Steven, I don't think we can overstate how crucial of a mistake that was by Hand. Just not getting his hands on the handoff, and it was a fumble. So 9:05, here's Hotaling in an I formation. Hotaling's going to hand it off. That was one of the Williams brothers, and he's stuffed. Regis really not having success on these inside runs.
And they're really not, Jake, and that's part of the boom or bust running game Regis runs, is that you either have a big play or almost no play at all, where ThunderRidge really runs a middle. Not a lot of big plays, but not a lot of stuff plays. It's really interesting here, and that drop by Hand, Jake, actually really danger in the pistol option offense.
Yeah, Steven, handoffs are a crucial part in even those small pitches, so things can go wrong. 8:30 in the fourth quarter. Hotaling's going to scramble out to the right. He's looking downfield. He's going to tuck it and run. He'll get maybe a couple of yards, if anything. So once again, just like that, Regis is in a third and long situation.
And, Jake, do you throw here with Hotaling? Do you put the ball back in his hands and say, hey, Hotaling, throw?
Steven, I personally believe that just another run up the middle or on the edges that gets almost no yardage would just be too demoralizing. I think you have to take a chance here. Pass. This is not 4-down territory yet. There's enough time on the clock, but this is a big play for the Raider offense. So Hotaling's in an I form. Twin receivers left. ThunderRidge in a 4-3. Their DBs are about 5 yards off of the receivers, and the ball's on the 23-yard line. Here's Hotaling. He's going to hand it off. Up the middle to Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams not going to have enough for a first down. 4th and short. Do you consider going for it here, Steven?
Jake, it looks like it's about half a yard, to be honest. So I honestly think there's the possibility the Raiders go for it with just a quick run, because it's not more than half or 3/4 of a yard if you look at where the sticks are on the other side.
So it'll be 4th down in inches. And Sebastian Harris is out on the field. But it looks like Hotaling's going to stay in and go for it. You know, there's not a lot of people on the line for the Grizzlies. A quick sneak up the middle would work. So here we go, 7:40. 4th down in inches on the Raiders' own 30-yard line. A.J. Shaw in motion. And it's going to be a handoff. And oh, that's a decent spot by the official on the far side. Oh.
They didn't get it.
And it's ThunderRidge ball.
I think
Steven,
they should have run a sneak, Jake.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. ThunderRidge had some men. They had some gaps straight up the middle. All Hotaling do had to snap it and just kind of dive up the middle. Would have been enough for a first down, but a questionable call there by the offense to do a sort of a long developing handoff, and now ThunderRidge has the ball.
The Raiders have a tendency to take the gifts other teams give them and give them right back, Jake. They're really a re-gifting team, and you can't do that.
Yeah, as generous as we like to be at Regis Jesuit, we don't like to be generous in that fashion.
So we'll see here what ThunderRidge can do with this. Jake, I imagine if they get close enough, do you think they'll kick a field goal and make it 7?
Well, the thing is, Steven, we don't really know how much they trust their field goal kicker. I mean, that extra point was extremely shaky. to say the least. And now with 7 minutes left, a long Grizzly drive here could essentially put the icing on the cake. And it's a handoff to Ray. Ray is going to fight his way for about 5 yards. He's a tough kid, Steve, and he's really got a lot of yards after contact tonight.
And he really does, Jake. In fact, I think almost all of his yards are after contact, which is something you don't see from a lot of running backs, maybe the likes of Monty Ball, but you really don't see a lot of guys who just take hits and then just keep crashing. So he's a true power back, Jake.
So here's Westmoreland in the pistol again. 3 receivers, Regis in a 4-3. In motion, Krieger. And Westmoreland's going to keep it, and he'll be met up the middle. So that was 3rd down and 5, so now it will be 4th down. This would be about a 42-yard field goal.
I assume they go for it.
So this is a very interesting decision because this is not easy yardage, but at the same time, this is a pretty long field goal.
It really is, Jake, but I imagine they'll keep him on there because even Harrison Thrasher would have trouble making a 42-yarder, Jake. And from the looks of it, the ThunderRidge care is nowhere near his caliber.
So here comes Westmoreland. There are going to be 3 receivers and a tight end on the left. In the pistol, possibly trying to get the Raider defense to jump off sides. And good job by the Raider defense to stay disciplined. 5:36 to go, and they will call timeout and talk about what they're going to do. So, Steven, a nice job of the Raiders not to bite the bait and jump off sides.
And, Jake, I think it really helped that at 4th and 5, you really can't run the ball and hope for it. So I think the Raiders line was able to stay a little more relaxed. So a great play on the last great defense on the last play to really set up the fact that they could avoid taking the bait.
Steven, interesting here, though. ThunderRidge really, I mean, to be honest, this game, they really have struggled with the passing game. So if you are ThunderRidge, do you run or pass?
I think you run an option, like a power option, Jake, where you have the running back as a bailout all the way across the field, and you see if Westmoreland can get it, and if he can't, he makes the pitch late. I think you give yourself options, though. That's what the ThunderRidge offense is built on, is options, and you need to give yourself that here.
So here we go, 5:35. 2 receivers and a tight end flank on the right side. Ball on the 25-yard line. He's going to pass out to the middle, number 14 and number 4, and it's caught for a ThunderRidge first down. That's Mark Hopper just completely left wide open for a Raider, and that's a Grizzly first down.
And, Jake, if you're the Raiders, you have to stop them for 3 points here. If they score a touchdown here, it's a 2-possession game, and it's almost over with the Raiders' time control.
Yes, Steven, a touchdown here would almost put the nail in the coffin. 5:18 now, ball on the 14-yard line. Westmoreland going to line up under center in sort of a goal line I formation. It's going to hand it off to Ray. Ray is going to find a hole, and he's going to, man, Steven, he's finding holes out of seemingly a brick wall. He got 8 or 9 yards on that carry.
And Jake, that's why I referred him to a wrecking ball. He finds these brick walls and he just smashes holes in them and makes the run. So Ray, the wrecking ball out here, just really putting some production in the ThunderRidge offense when they could have none.
Centripetal acceleration of the wrecking ball. All right, here we are, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle by Westmoreland to Jake Hand. Hand gets probably about no gain. Now 4:30 to go. So it'll be 3rd down and 2 yards from the 6. Steve and I imagine even if they don't convert here, they'll go for it again on 4th down. I think they've gotten every 4th down conversion they've tried, and Regis has not converted a single one.
And, Jake, I really think they will go for it here because 7 points doesn't do you a whole lot of good when you're already up 4.
So here comes Westmoreland. Westmoreland handoff up the middle, and that's a first down and a touchdown. Man, wrecking ball might be too light of a description. I say giant bulldozer tank.
I would definitely agree with an analogy to a tank, Jake, because he is running over, running through, running under, running the Regis Jesuit defense into the ground.
So that's a 6-yard touchdown by Steve Ray, and the Grizzlies are now up by 2 2 possessions with 3:57 to go. Hoffer with the extra point is up, and it is good. So ThunderRidge now leads the Raiders 21-10.
And for all our physics references, Jake, I think Ray almost defies them when he's running. So we'll see here what Regis can do. Jake, Regis is in a time crunch, and they aren't good in time crunches.
Yes, Steven. At this point, I don't know if Regis really... I mean, I hope to see Matt Hotelling air the ball out on this next drive, but the Regis offense is so tuned to running the ball that it makes it so difficult to come back late in these games. It's not a Washington State or the former Texas Tech Mike Leach offense where you can score 20 points in 2 minutes. This offense takes a lot of time to work properly.
And Jake, with those references, I think they need to almost play just a Houston Cougar offense from the days of Case Keenum, where they just air it out every play 80 yards and hope someone catches it.
Didn't Case Keenum get like 5,000 yards passing last year?
5,984.
And like, what, 40 touchdowns?
Yeah, a lot.
So Hopper's going to squib it, and it'll be fielded by number 16, Thomas Donegan, who will cut it across and take the ball out to the 30-yard line. So the Raider offense will start with the ball on its own 31-yard line with 3:51 left to go in the fourth quarter. So interesting to see here if Hotelling can put some points on the board for the Raiders.
And Jake, this first play, ThunderRidge might see it coming, but probably not expecting it. I say you just bomb one deep to your big target, Robert Orban.
4 receivers to the Raiders. And as I talk, Steven, the ThunderRidge offensive coordinator to the left of us is packing his stuff up. So ThunderRidge clearly feels that the game is in control. But we'll see if the Raiders can have some late magic. Hotelling looking right. He throws it deep in the air to number 14, Cody Lippert. And Cody Lippert, I think, made that catch. What a great catch by Cody Lippert. That is unbelievable. What a great catch, Steven.
And Jake, I think that is the pass that starts off the comeback, just like the Giants have had in both Super Bowls against the Patriots. I think that's the pass that sets it off. That's the pass that will be remembered. And I think here, if Raiders get another big pass, they're back in business.
Cody Lippert, I think, Steven, has earned himself some reps for the next game. 3:44 to go in the fourth. Hotelling sends A.J. Shaw in motion. Hotelling going to hand it off to Jalen Williams, who stays on his feet for 9 yards, but the clock keeps on running.
And Jake, for the Raiders, really tick-tock. It's time to make a wish and hope that you can really get it in the end zone here and score quickly.
3:25 to go. Hotelling needs to speed up his calls to the line. 3 receivers now. Shaw in motion. Hotelling looking left. Ooh, Robert Orban looked like he was held up a little, but no call.
I think that was inside 5 yards, Jake.
For the folks that don't know at home, contact is allowed within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. It is not pass interference or holding within that 5 yards, but after that, any contact that inhibits the receiver from making an attempt towards the ball is illegal. So now it'll be 3rd and 3. 3:13 to go. The ball's on the 37-yard line of the Grizzlies. And Hotelling's getting some last-minute signals from the sideline. Looks like there were 12 men on the field. No. Regis is going to have to call timeout here, I would imagine. Oh, wow. So they get a fullback in, and there's a whistle. Timeout, Regis Jesuit. So, Steven, I don't even know if that's legal.
I don't see why it wouldn't be, Jake.
I hear the ThunderRidge offensive coordinator to the left of us screaming that they're not allowed to sub on a man after the huddle's broken, but I don't really know what the official rule is on that.
Yeah, really unfortunate you have to waste your time out there, Jake. The Raiders are going to need that down the road. And I think if you're the Raiders with only 3:13 left, I mean, tick-tock, time to make a wish. Wish for points, plays, and onside kick for all the players out there.
So the Raiders down by 11 points. That is at least 2 possessions. The best that can happen here is they score a touchdown and convert a 2-point conversion to be 3 points down. But even with that, ThunderRidge has more than enough skill to there's not enough time that ThunderRidge can just kind of run out the clock. But 3rd and 3 nonetheless. Ball on the 37-yard line. We'll see what McPhee dials up for the Raiders here. ThunderRidge has lining up in a 4-4. The stands are rocking. Everyone's on their feet. Pretty big goal line set. Hotelling's going to fake handoff and throw it. Misses his target, Robert Orban, but that's a roughing the passer penalty. Roughing the passer on number 93, John Adam. So the drive stays alive. Steven, did you see that penalty?
I did, Jake, and it was definitely a roughing the passer call. But I don't know, do the Grizzlies want to play more football? Because they really, this would have been 4th and 3. I don't know if the Grizzlies want to see if the Raiders can come back because they're really giving them a good chance here.
So, Steven, we'll see now if Matt Hotelling can use that penalty to really try to get some points on this possession. Now 3:08 on the clock to go.
And that was actually 5 seconds for 15 yards, Jake, and I don't know a team that wouldn't take that.
So the ball's now on the 21-yard line of the Grizzlies. Hotelling barking out commands to his line. And there's a flag on the play. 2 flags, so looks like a legal substitution or legal motion. And that'll move the Raiders 5 yards back.
So we'll see here. I still think Raiders getting great field position there.
Ball on the 26-yard line now. And here's Hotelling. 3 receivers, 1 tight end flank. Hotelling looking left. Misses his man. Steven, I think one of the biggest problems that Matt Hotelling faces in his development is his accuracy. He has been missing a lot of receivers tonight and throughout the season. We do know that he's young, but sort of that's definitely something that he should work on.
And, Jake, it really looks like the Raiders have been playing timing football tonight there. You saw Alex Mitchell was going to be there. Matt Hotelling didn't even really look, just threw it there. So his accuracy will come into play when they stop playing timing football.
So here's Hotelling now, 3 receivers. Hotelling's going to look to the left, going to throw it up to Robert Orban, and Orban has it go off his fingertips. Drop passes have been here tonight. Not a great performance by the receiving corps.
Now, Jake, if the Raiders don't get this, do you kick a field goal? Because that puts you within 1 possession.
Let's see, Steven. That would be about a 42-yard field goal. I don't see why not. I don't know, though.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility because that does put you within 1 possession, which is what your goal on this drive is.
Yeah, if it's 4th and 15, I'd say it's probably better to kick a field goal. But here's Hotelling now. He's again. This looks like the same play. This time he's going to throw over the middle to Alex Mitchell, who catches it. So now Regis with a 4th down and about 5. Much more interesting scenario. I think that it's more manageable. They'll probably go for it, Steven.
I think you need to kick it here, Jake, and just get points on the board. Because it doesn't matter if you score a touchdown. If you lose by 4, you lose by 11. I think they really need to kick it here. I think it's a terrible call by Mark Nolan and McPhee.
4th and 5 from the 16-yard line. There are 3 receivers and a tight end flank on the right. In the backfield is Jalen Williams. The ball's on the 16-yard line. Clock down to 2:20. Hotelling going to scramble out to the right. He's looking to the end zone. He doesn't see anyone. He's going to have to run it. He's crossing back around the field, and he gets tackled. And with that sack go the hopes and dreams of this football game for the Raiders.
Jake, they knew the pass was coming. That's why you have to kick a field goal there, because now there's 2:08 left on the clock, and there could be 2:08 left on the clock, and the Raiders could be within 1 possession and going for the onside kick. I don't agree with that call, Jake.
Steven, I think what I didn't like about that play is that when you roll to one side of the field, you're really eliminating 2/3 of the field from possibility. I mean, when you have to throw to the run, that pretty much limits where you can throw the ball to the right side of the field, and he only had 1 receiver on that side. So a really tough position for Hotelling to have success, and then he tried to turn it across the other side, but could not evade the arms of the Grizzly defender.
And that was actually Eagle, Jake, one of their most trusted plays.
So ThunderRidge, Steven, is just going to run it up the gut. That was hand. We're now under 2 minutes to play.
I think ThunderRidge is just going to do handoffs, Jake. I can't see any more trickeration risking a fumble.
Trickeration indeed is over for the night, Steven. They're just going to try to burn the clock. And really, Steven, all in all, how would you analyze this game?
I think for the Raiders, you analyze this game in two halves. First half, you saw a real great Raider football, and I don't know if stamina's an issue or what's an issue, but second half, you didn't see Raider football.
Again, to recap the game for our fans at home, Alex Mitchell caught a 24-yard touchdown pass to open up the scoring in the first quarter, putting up the Raiders up 7-0. Then ThunderRidge struck back in the second quarter with a short handoff to Jake Hand for 1 yard. Then Harrison Thrasher kicked a 27-yard field goal at the end of the second quarter to give the Raiders a 10-7 lead in halftime. But in the third quarterback, it was all Grizzlies with a 1-yard short run by Steve Ray, and then a big touchdown run by Steve Ray again late in the fourth quarter, wrecking ball from the 6-yard line. And that'll be enough for a first down, Steven. So we're now at 49 seconds left. What grade would you give the Raiders for this game overall?
Jake, again, I have to divide it into two halves. First half, I give the Raiders a A-. Second half, I give them a C+, and I don't think there's really any place to combine the score, because for overall, I'd have to give the Raiders a C+ overall, just because the way they ended this game. So I think you really have to look at this game in two halves. Raiders have to be happy with the first half, work on stamina, work on keeping in the game, and honestly, I think coaches a lot better discipline here from the Raiders, as we saw, Jake. A lot less penalties, which is a good thing, but I really think you need to look back at that play call and take that field goal.
Steven, to wrap it up, honestly, I think Regis got beat by a better team tonight. ThunderRidge is a team that has experience in the skill positions. They know how to win, and they showed Regis that even though they got behind in the first half and into halftime, they did not panic, kept their cool, came back and regrouped in the second half, and kept their unblemished record. ThunderRidge now 5-0. Regis Jesuit drops to 2-3.
Regis Jesuit, the best 2-3 team I know, Jake, and I think if they can string maybe a couple wins together and the season 6-4 and just make the playoffs, I think by that time they'll really be in tune and they'll be able to really make a deep run into the playoffs and probably take on this ThunderRidge team.
So please join us next Friday for our homecoming game against the Douglas County Huskies at Luke Hellig Stadium. The game will kick off at 7 o'clock, and if you can't be there, catch us on live.Regis Jesuit. It was a pleasure tonight. On behalf of Joe Quigley, Steven Snyder, and Andrew Reel, I'm Jake Leonard, and thanks for listening to us. Steven, any final thoughts?
And Jake, tune in next Friday for the football game, but also Tuesday night we have a soccer game from Luke Kellogg Stadium at 7 p.m. So we'll see here. Just some quick end game analysis, actually, from Andrew Reel and Joe Quigley if you want to stick around after the game.
And welcome back to the post-game report with myself, Joe Quigley, and our wonderful cameraman, Andrew Reel. Andrew, Raiders came out second half, shutout. Not score a single point during the second half. What happened?
Well, unfortunately, Joe, football is a game of two halves, and the second half just wasn't the Raiders. They didn't make the big plays when they needed to make them. The defense put the offense in the position, but unfortunately, they just couldn't make enough big plays when they needed them.
Defense definitely out there pulling their own, causing a fumble that offense cannot capitalize on. What do you think the Raiders need to do going into next week homecoming?
Going into next week's homecoming, the Raiders just need to stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, finish out this conference season, and get ready for the playoffs.
The Raiders advance to 2-3, and the ThunderRidge Grizzlies remain undefeated. Thank you for tuning in for our post-game report. We'll see you on Tuesday for boys soccer at 7 p.m.
See you then, guys.